You see, if the media becomes partisan, that is very serious. And in Jamaica, some media outlets have been accused of amplifying opposition voices. Week before last, one senior journalist asked a question at a press conference, and the Minister of Information said it was the same question that was asked of her. No, the same exact question that was asked of her in the Senate. Is there collusion with the opposition in media? Because this creates an echo chamber of criticism, making it difficult for the government to implement policies to respond to crises effectively. Misinformation now is the Melissa that we have to be dealing with. Democracies relies on a well-informed citizenry. Democracies rely on a free press. However, when the media prioritizes partisanship over fact-based reporting, it undermines this foundation. The result, as I said earlier, is a polarized society where the citizens are divided. And to mitigate this, the media outlets must prioritize fact-based reporting, accountability, and diverse perspectives. They must recognize their role in shaping public discourse and strive to promote nuanced understanding rather than partisan agendas. By doing so, they can help to strengthen the democracy and promote a more informed and engaged citizenry. All right, Caroline, let's go early to the callers, okay?
Okay. Are you ready? Hello?
Yes,
Are you ready?
I am ready. Yes. Good night, sir. Worldwide, good night. A partisan media. Partisan democracy. How is the media doing? Spread of misinformation.
The victor. In the name of Jesus.
Top of the night to you, Paulo. Is the fight a little deeper than we are thinking? That is the media failing us, eh? 19 to 8. Ready for your calls. Well, you can't say that you can't complain that good night, Patrick. Hello? Sir Craig, good night to you.
Good night, neighbor. How are you?
I'm all right. Hi, thanks.
Boy, neighbor, me come in and me one video pop up on my phone. Me start, me sit down here and me a shake my head. I watch the video about 2 times because me confused, neighbor. Me confused. And a man of your intellect, probably you can answer the. Me have a question. Probably you can answer the question.
Yes, why?
Neighbor, Jamaica have one prime minister. Is the prime minister run Jamaica, right, neighbor?
Well, the executive. He's the head of the cabinet.
Yes, but the prime minister is the leader of the country, right?
Uh-huh.
No, who is the prime minister leader?
Say that again.
Who is the prime minister of Jamaica?
Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness.
Neighbor, sometime me based on the video when me just watch, sometimes I'm wondering, you know. And the reason being is that I saw 2 things happen since week. One, PMP believe that they are the ones. Mark Golden believe that he's the one who is in charge. And secondly, I see Mr. Curry dictating.
Don't go so far, sir.
Yes.
Mark Golden believes he's the one in charge.
Yes, he's acting like he's the one in charge.
I don't think so, sir. Wait, how?
Because he's dictating to the government what to do. It's not a recommendation that he's giving. When you're going to make a statement that bear in mind 400 and something thousand people vote for us, simply mean that the government cannot do anything without you.
Yes, sir. I think that was a very.
That's a rude statement.
Well, I think it is unfortunate that Mr. Golden said that, and I think that's why the Prime Minister had to
draw him up.
He was not going to accept any threat.
Exactly.
Now, what I think I want you to understand, sir, and the listeners, is that followers take their cues from leaders. You see? And it is clear that the followers of the People's National Party are emboldened by the rhetoric of their leader. Just like how when Holness goes to Westmoreland and said, if I'm not afraid of nobody.
Yes.
My brother, labor rights like that, you know.
No, we don't have any problem. It's a justified statement.
Yeah, well, not only that, you will say that because he's your leader. You're gonna defend him. But
hold on, neighbor. I am not defending the statement because he's the leader. I am defending the statement because the persons in the country would want the leader to feel like they are bigger than him. So he's letting them know, I am the leader. I am not afraid of anybody.
Fine. Yeah, I grant you that. What I'm saying though is that when Mr. Golden says that 400,000 people, no, he said, I represent 400.
Yes.
That is fraught with a lot of challenge, you know, sir. Because firstly, as the Prime Minister made clear to Mr. Golden, the opposition is a part of the government.
Yes.
And a lot of Jamaicans need to understand that there are certain bills in Parliament
that cannot be done. Yeah, they require the opposition.
Correct. And there are certain things that the Prime Minister must consult.
Yes.
There are certain appointments that you can't make them without the opposition's consultation, at least to consult with him.
Yes.
And in the Parliament, sir, whenever a Prime Minister stands up to make a presentation, by the constitution or the rules of governing the parliament, the opposition is to respond.
Yeah, and we know that in a neighbor.
Yes,
We're not
because
disputing that.
I want to make one other point. That we do not live, sir,
Mm-hmm.
in a dictatorship.
Not at all.
And we don't live in a country that is autocratic either. This is a democracy.
True.
Now, that does not only apply to the prime minister, you know, it also applies to the leader of the opposition. As the prime minister is the prime minister of the entire Jamaica, so is Mr. Golin the opposition leader for the entire Jamaica.
And neighbor,
You cannot therefore go into parliament and say that you represent 400,000 people.
and neighbor, this is my thing. While I do understand the makeup of governance and government system, the statement that Mr. Golden make was very rude of him to make that statement, because you are the one who is putting your own foot in your mouth. Nobody calls you to make that statement. Nobody no calls you to put your own foot in your mouth. You did it by yourself for refusing to join the partnership that the government stretch out their hand. But neighbor, let me go to the biggest part of what I called about. Now, neighbor, in Jamaica, we have 14 parishes, right?
The Minister of Finance and myself.
Yeah, man, go
Right,
ahead.
neighbor? 14 parishes in the parishes in Jamaica. No, neighbor, the Andrew Holness is the government. Andrew Holness and the JLP party is the government that responsible for the 14 parish, correct? Correct, neighbor?
Correct.
No, neighbor, I never know that we have a different state in Jamaica. When I hear that BOJ report from Mr. Curry, neighbor, I have to ask myself that since when Jamaica have an independent state?
It would be a good idea, in my view, to include the opposition.
I'm sorry, a little distracted. Since when Jamaica what?
Since when Jamaica has an independent state?
Well, you know, sir, if you are referring to a little tape I hear coming out of
That is the same tape that I hear from Mr. Curry.
You know, sir, I think Mr. Curry is seeking relevance, and the less we say about that, the better.
The government need to remind Mr. Curry who is the leader of Jamaica.
I don't think Mr. Curry is under any illusion.
But for Mr. Curry to make that statement about you refusing the military to come in to grant aid, that is not your choice. You don't dictate to the government who them to send and who them not to send.
Mr. Curry is seeking relevance. I don't even think we should be calling Mr. Curry name up here. That is a discussion. We have
But when I hear this man say this is the first you're coming, Andrew Holness coming to visit him after his election, your election is none and void, your election don't relevant.
Well, sir, there is not 1 inch of Jamaica that should be seen to anyone. And I think that whilst there are recognition of groups like Curry's, you know, as I said, sir, I don't pay any attention to them, to that you know. We have a government, we have an opposition, and you know, sir, Mr. Curry is getting more press on this than it really requires.
All I'm saying to my Prime Minister, and I will end on this, is that the people of Jamaica elect you to lead. We don't elect opposition to dictate or lead. We elect government to lead. So, Mr. Prime Minister, lead Jamaica into a prosperous future. We don't care. We see opposition and what they want to do. We don't business about anybody else and the opposition and their negative aspect. Lead. That's what we pay you to lead. Don't recognize. Don't look on anybody. Don't look. You're looking at the rear view mirror, looking at the windshield. Just lead, Mr. Prime Minister. That's all we ask you to do.
Very good, sir.
Thank you, neighbor.
Yeah. All right.
Which is all the more reason why recovery authority is important. I wrote to the Prime Minister on behalf of the hurricane to suggest the establishment of a task force with broad-based representation,
Well,
leaders
go on,
from
neighbor.
the private and business community,
Yeah, come to you.
leaders from the churches, leaders from the NGOs, and representatives from the government and the opposition. The concept of NARA is consistent with that. However, I've heard nothing from the Prime Minister as to the role of the opposition in NARA.
Go ahead, Mark. Hey,
Yeah, it's good night, man. Boy, look how Andrew has got a compound last week, that Sunday gone, man. I give man them a generator and everything, man.
uh-huh.
Why, man? I come out with this message today. Yeah? Tell I want a soldier for real bill. What's all I want? Yeah, I contribution and money. Why Andrew wants to give me the money in my hand? You know, go work, so. No, go work.
Uh-huh. That's what he said.
Must that you want to say?
Well, you know, so I don't know that that is going to work.
That not go work.
No.
Cause why not want the military? Yeah, wait a minute. I feel one soldier them bread and free soldier that come from Jamaica and an overseas soldier. People from a local soldier. Eh? You know, and they roam around the place. Eh?
Uh-huh. You know that they have their own. They have their own bank notes up there, sir.
I know that I'm saying. Look like he have all in one bodyguard.
Yes.
Cause he have this lady we are grown with him, you know, this farmer journalist, this jockey. When they call her Nikki Z. You're one of them, you know.
Well, you know, she's all over the place, sir.
Yes, Nikki Z. And he have one next blogger named called Shelly and Coran.
Yes.
Yes. She's
Yes,
running with fake news.
Uh-huh.
All the people, all the diaspora, they believe everything when Andrew Holness about the money, you know. It stink over the diaspora, you know. It's very stink.
My brother, I tell you something. I don't
When
want
Jeanette Calder do to Andrew before election, yeah, it damaged already created already, neighbor.
Yes.
It doesn't
Yes,
make
sir.
sense to apologize. It's too late.
But you know what
People
they say?
already have it.
Yeah,
This
you know
stink
what-
road already.
You know what they say about lie, sir? That the lie goes around the world before the truth puts on the underpants.
Yes.
Yes. And you know, sir, you know, I no disrespect to you, but sometimes repeating these things, you see, sir, only keep spreading.
You just keep on spreading neighbor. Let me tell you, yes,
I think that what Corey says is of no value in Jamaica, sir. No value.
no value. And the blogger them run with it.
Well,
I'm calling him already. You have the persons like the Shelly and Coran. She's very devious on social media. I
Yes,
don't hear people calling out her. She
Yes.
needs to be stooled. Shelly
You
and
know-
Coran,
you know,
Nikki
so
Z.
when they want their videos to get to go viral on TikTok, they hashtag hello neighbor.
Yes, and the one Andre Stevens.
Lord Jesus, they hashtag hello neighbor, sir. I don't watch their videos, sir. I don't want nobody share it with me.
But I'm saying that it's very stink over diaspora. About Andrew Holness, about trillions of dollars. Yeah?
Yes, sir. I
And you're
heard.
coming now after election to apologize.
Yeah, I
Apologize.
may be going
And it's
against.
already
I may be going on. I may be going against my own advisor. But I heard something that Bill Gates sent $100 million down here. Yes, sir. $100 million Bill Gates sent down to Jamaica to give people for the hurricane and anyway.
we want to know the money that the PMP is getting for help with the Hurricane Melissa. Where are they getting the funds from? We want to know that, hello neighbor. We want to know that. Where
Yeah,
are
you
they
can
getting funds for?
You
And
just
what
ask.
they're going to do with the funds? Where is going to be
you just
disbursed to? Which
Yeah.
constituency?
Tune into Parliament next week because the government is going to release all the packages it has given out since the hurricane, and which MP get it. The government is going to release it, sir.
Yeah, but the PNP need to release theirs because they were asking for a donation. We want to know what their
Yeah, I want you to be clear though, sir, that the PNP, you know, sir, cannot be forced by Parliament to release their funds.
Yeah, it's a political party, but they are saying they're going to use it for. But people are giving them funds from the diaspora. What they're going to use it for?
I heard Minister Morgan issuing a caution, you know, sir, that the Integrity Commission is watching. Yes, and the Auditor General is watching. So I guess it will come out, sir. We just have to wait. I think the Electoral Office of Jamaica, the EOJ, is probably the body that would have to intervene to ask those questions. But I think it's a reasonable question, sir, and I think it should be asked.
Yes. But as I said, what the statement that Curry put out is it don't look good on himself. It don't look good. It don't look good. What he issued since evening. It don't look good. The Prime Minister come there to help you. You should have stayed the assistance. Why you buffing it with it? Eh? Soldier them assist you in this time of need. Put away the foolishness and put away the politics.
Yeah, it probably is political, sir.
Jesus. Put away the politics, man. It's not the time for politics. You meet with Andrew Holness this Sunday. Why you didn't tell me say you don't want the soldier? Why you didn't tell me say you don't want the military? And now today's Thursday. Almost a week. And you waited today to put out the statement?
Maybe he was told.
He meted someone and said he don't want the soldier. He want Andrew Holness to look bad. Why you didn't say that from Sunday? In neighbor? Why you didn't say that from Sunday? It's the same thing Mark Golden performing. You notice? You meet with Andrew Holness behind closed door, and when you come out, you say something different. It's the same thing. That is the same thing Curry is going on with, you know. I need civil society to come out on this matter.
Civil what, sir? Civil society is not civil, sir.
Yeah? I want Jump. Of course, Jump, led by Jeanette Card and NIA, National Integrity Action, by Daniel Archer and Trevor Monroe. Where are they?
Oh.
Yeah? So why Jump come out and say Andrew Holness don't rub up the trillion? Where is Daniel Archer to apologize to Prime Minister Andrew Holness? Yeah?
Yes.
She said on Dion Jackson program, my Prime Minister. She said that, you know, she used the word my Prime Minister. Yeah? When the report came out, my Prime Minister. Yeah? Where she is. Wow. She's hiding. The only thing Daniel Archer is coming like she agreed with everything with PNP. I think she was a close ally to Peter Bunting, you know. Might be that's why she's not coming out. Eh?
Is that so?
You need to do your research there, but she was a close confidant in Peter Bunting. Some secretary.
I see.
Yes.
Well, after run, sir.
Okay.
My brother, to know is to know. You hear is not it's not everything you know you say you know. All right.
Make up your mind.
All right. So here's a report coming out of Parliament. Make up your mind. Hold on.
Make up your mind. A frustrated Prime Minister tells his opposition counterpart that the inconsistent positions being taken on the hurricane recovery efforts are not helpful. Dr. Holness's comments follow the opposition's refusal to sit on a joint select committee set to provide oversight of the disaster response.
And I've said, listen, let us establish a special committee. It wouldn't be under the strictures of all the other rules of how the standing committees and other committees work. It could meet when it wants and have that robust discussion, ask questions, oversight, and it's under the rubric of Parliament. I was a bit disappointed that effort was rejected in favor of going to the PAAC. But I understand, because it is my view as well, that if you have a government and the government has a structure, why go outside of the structure of government? Allow government to work. On the one hand, you can't reject what I have established based upon your advice and request. You have established it. Then you reject it. And then you come here and say, you want to have a role. Make up your mind.
The Prime Minister went on to suggest carving out a place for the opposition on the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, NARA. But Dr. Holness says he's uncertain as to what form that will take. NARA is being established to guide the country's post-hurricane reconstruction with a focus on safer homes and climate-resilient infrastructure. The opposition leader interjected, accusing the Prime Minister of not having the political will to include the opposition.
And NARA is being established as a new framework. And all I'm saying is, if you want this to be a national, it would be a good idea, in my view, to include the opposition in the governance structure of NARA. If it's a statutory body, all you have to do is, in the schedule which establishes its composition, include 1 or 2 members appointed by the leader of the opposition. That is standard. It is done. There are many examples in our law of that. Many, including things like the Early Childhood Commission and the Parenting Commission. The Disaster Risk Council itself has the leader of the opposition as a member. And there are many, many others. So there's no rocket science to do this. It's just a question of political will and whether you think it's appropriate or not. And clearly you don't.
But the Prime Minister would have none of it. He says the opposition leader's demands are still unclear.
So again, the attempted clarification has not made the position of the opposition any clearer to me. When we met, I explained that there is the Disaster Risk Management Act, which already incorporates the leader of the opposition. Leader of the opposition went out and said, we want a different management structure, even before I had announced NARA.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
All right.
And I've said, listen, let us establish a special committee.
All right. So that's from the Parliament on Tuesday. And of course, that is carried by Nationwide. More came out of the Parliament that I wanted to share with you, but I guess we will share that after we talk to my friend Bridget. Bridget, text it, Bridget, what's your bet? Come true. Or what?
No, what me want to talk about neighbor, you know, really want to hear about it. Me did want a quick argument to continue, but obviously, you know, you rather not, we don't speak about that, but
well, if you want to share on it, I as I said, I think that Corey is irrelevant. Corey has a good little group of people that the government don't trouble him with, call them maroons. You ask many Jamaicans about Mr. Corey, they would ask, the Uncle Corey them know a curry goat, curry chicken, and curry rice. Nothing else.
Better pack curry.
And better pack curry. That's the Uncle Corey that Jamaicans would know about. So I don't think that we should be spending valuable time talking about curry. Curry, when you go buy fried chicken, you ask for curry gravy. The only thing Jamaican know about the curry gravy. That's hold on.
Eva.
Hold on.
Eva.
Hold on there. Hold on there.
That's what me want to curry gravy tonight, neighbor.
A curry gravy. The Uncle Curry they want to talk about is curry gravy. Curry gravy for the rice.
You want to
curry gravy for the rice.
You want to curry gravy for my rice tonight.
No, go ahead.
No, it just fascinates me how hypocritical this man is. You understand me? Because him say, when I listen to it, come in and really listening about somebody, you know, say no man, listen it in its entirety. And when you listen, him say because it's like him say them not used to any pie. I won't say the word, on TikTok. Pie down in the maroon tone. And I'm saying to myself, I am sure, like how I sure about going to my bed tonight, that I see Corey with pie cross him trap cross.
He might want shotgun when he walk with Bridget. He might want shotgun when he walk
Yeah.
with.
You understand me, Scratchy? So me I say, it's not like like when you hear it, we talk about the morons Scratchy, and say them the people and see them the something they none at all. I saw them name Scratchy, the people will live up in a Connecticut way.
Them Amish people them.
Amish, right, Amish.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. And I like them the people that where say, them the see them the something there. Them something they take place down something me just understand this man. And him out about him have a deliberation with international partner. Who are the international people? And if they're so concerned, all right, fine. Don't take nothing from the government then. And let your international people who you deliberate with send you the material, come give you, and you do your thing down there. But he must say him want the material, but him not want the soldiers them to come down there, come do no work because them it's a disrespect and all of them foolishness there. Scratchy, me just not understand them people. And I know it is coming from the other side. Because them never happy when he bring the PM down there now. Because they expected him to disrespect the PM. But they
Bring the PM down there. The PM go down there.
Right. But when he went down there, they expected the Corey and everybody to disrespect. But I see they had a cordial meeting. They were inside, sitting around a round table having discussions and all of that. So I don't think the other side did really like it. So probably them calling and say, listen, man, you try to go down the road, you try to spin it one other way. That is my opinion. I tell you, man, I tell you, neighbor, you see, from the man that take over that party it has been so disruptive. It's just not funny. But let us see what is gonna happen. I hope my PM don't. Me know my PM not going to look at them, So me just want to see what the PM is going to do. But that is my two curry pan my white rice neighbor. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much.
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing? You're not coming home for Christmas?
I want to. I want to.
How is the baby?
I left the baby about 2 weeks now. The baby's now sleeping through the night, so my job is finished. I'll be taking up another job in LA shortly.
Wow. Okay, great.
I'm a traveling nurse.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. Great. You here?
Okay. Thank you, Caroline. You can give my space to somebody else. Munchie be in the building, and I invite her over here all the time.
I've never spoken to her, Who is Munchibi? Who is that? I don't know her. Oh my goodness.
She's always interactive with me as well.
Okay, well, I don't know. Munchibi, big up yourself. Go ahead.
I don't know if you hear me quite well.
No, I'm not hearing you so well. No, I'm not hearing you so good.
All right. Yeah, man, you hear me now?
I'm a little better.
Hello. All right. So there's a bit more information other than the opposition when it comes on to Corey. So apparently, Corey have a lot of pies up there. He have a lot of illegal pies up there that was sent there by two entertainers.
No.
Donated
hold on. No. Mute the man here for me. I don't have any evidence of that, sir. You can't come here to tell me about pie up the entertainer sent up to Korea, and I don't know about that, huh? I can't deal with that. You can't do that, my brother. You have to be careful how you see, we are very strong here on facts. Okay, so if you're going to come up on this platform here with allegations that I can't prove, then you are injuring the reputation of the show. So don't do that. I mean, let us cover what is in the news. Let us cover what is in the news that we can prove. You can quote the Gleaner and Nationwide. You notice I play Parliament and Nationwide. I can't verify that, sir. I apologize for that, but I can't verify that. But before I go to you, Scratchy, Gustav, Scratchy.
Good night, Nehemiah. Good night, Harry. Good night, Gustav and the viewers.
Scratchy, what is this? Because I haven't to understand what is happening with the Maroons and the government. What's happening?
I mean, ever since this new Marine chief was the chief of this new Maroon chief neighbor by the name of Curry, ever since he became the chief neighbor, we have seen this guy neighbor trying to put up some form of resistance to the formal government who has the sole responsibility neighbor of each and every citizen across Jamaica. The Prime Minister alluded earlier neighbor down in the years that there can be no state within a state neighbor. So despite what sovereignty was given to the Maroons neighbor, the Prime Minister is saying that yes, we might understand and show respect to your sovereignty at a certain level, but when it comes to certain things neighbor, the government of Jamaica have that direct control. So this guy now neighbor, some persons from the opposition side came out and back him in some of his things that he was spewed. So from that he started to lean towards the opposition neighbor. We have about, I believe, we have two persons in particular, neighbor, two persons of dreadlocks, two persons who it's no secret, neighbor, I won't call this person name, but two persons who have contributed to lawlessness and criminality in Jamaica to a certain extent. These two persons are backing Mr. Curry. These two persons also support the People's National Party. I was seeing really the effect that these persons are having on Mr. Curry, neighbor. They also help him towards the decision that he makes. So yesterday, but with the Prime Minister going down there and met with him the other day, yes, he seemed formal and cordial. Then a couple of days after now, we see him come out and reject the help that the Prime Minister offered to him. So you see that Mr. Curry is a true PNP neighbor, a flip-flop guy, not someone who can stand on his own feet neighbor, someone who's been, despite him being the leader of the Maroons right now, he's being programmed from a political standpoint neighbor from the opposition side. And whatever Mr. Curry think he's doing neighbor, he's all hurting the people down there in wherever he lives that who really wants help neighbor and need the support that the government is offering. So Mr. Curry neighbor, I don't see the relevance of him, another object fear neighbor. I met this guy personally neighbor, and I've been down there I spent about 3 days down there. And I must say, neighbor, I can speak. I was there personally. This guy, the way how I see this guy leadership style and quality, neighbor, it is no different from one of these from in the inner city communities where that have done. That is the impression that I get when I leave. I was saying, whoa, what kind of leader is this guy? So this guy must seem like a Dan to me. So I don't understand what's going on towards the sovereignty of the Maroons and to which extent and how many. What are the pros and cons in their sovereignty law, neighbor? What are they can or what they have or what they don't have? But I think there's some misinterpretation, neighbor, between this Maroon thing. They have to believe, neighbor, that they own certain amount of the cockpit mountains down there in the island where they are, and the government have to believe that this is government land. So it needs to be rectified, neighbor. There's definitely some form of iffy between the Maroons and the current government at this time.
Why is this being elevated to the national discussion though? How important is it?
To me, neighbor, it is of no importance to me because I see this guy as someone who's trying to be relevant, neighbor. I've never seen any other chief of the Maroon society behave like this guy. I've seen other chief come and they work with the culture, the minister of culture. They normally come and they work with the government. If they say that they're independent of the government to a certain extent, they stay away from the government with certain things. So I don't understand how Mr. Curry is saying that he's independent of the government, but you have a license firearm that they get through the FLA, that's smaller than the government, I don't know how you claim that you want to be independent of the government, but there are a lot of government resources that you're depending on. So this whole thing is confusing, neighbor, and I don't think it will have any importance. And Mr. Curry shouldn't be getting any form of relevance from this, neighbor. Mr. Curry is nothing but a common citizen of Jamaica who's trying to overthrow the government, trying to add to the nuisance or the noise of the government. And he shouldn't be elevated, neighbor. Mr. Curry shouldn't be elevated. Should not.
But for what
Should
it is
not. And
worth,
again, it's
those
just an
factors-
attack towards the government.
for what it is worth, the listeners seem to find it interesting. Why? I don't. Why?
I think, neighbor, the reason why the listeners find it interesting. I mean, it's not the first that this guy and the government, neighbor, has been in a tit for tat. Earlier, a couple of years ago, neighbor, there was a tit for tat argument between this guy and the government as to how the sovereignty works. And again, neighbor, this guy is a guy who turned up neighbor at the People's National Party General Annual Conference. He was there present. So, you know that with this type of style and where he's going, neighbor, and these things that he's doing now, somewhere like the Maroons land now, after you meet with the Prime Minister, they're going to come out and reject whatever help or aid the Prime Minister was offering. It's definitely going to call for some form of concern, neighbor, because the main thing that persons or supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party want Curry to know that there is no state within the state, neighbor. There is no state within the state. There's a video circulating also, neighbor, where someone down there was trying to breach the Prime Minister's security detail had to deal with the person in a manner that was proportionate to the threat that the person was offering. So again, neighbor, yes, someone in Mr. Curry place was trying to breach the security detail of the Prime Minister. And the person had to be dealt with in a manner that is proportionate to the threat that the person was bringing. So again, neighbor, Mr. Curry is just a guy who's being used by the People's National Party, neighbor, based on his and whatever support he might have from certain persons down there in whichever parish or wherever that Maroon land is. But he's a guy, neighbor, he doesn't deserve whatever. He doesn't deserve to be on Politics Plus. That'll be the main topic of Politics Plus. Trust me. I don't think he deserves to. He doesn't deserve that on a neighbor.
Oh, well, I see. Them throat held her. Okay. Wow. Okay. Gustav?
Greetings, neighbor. Greetings to you and your panelists and your listeners.
Yes. Top of the night to you. So what's on your mind?
Well, I've been listening to neighbor. I never really wanted to entertain the Curry arguments myself, you know, for multiple reasons. I wouldn't want to dive into the Curry issue because what it does, it sells an irrelevant let me say topic and then put it on a pedestal that it wouldn't normally be on by itself. But if we center conversations around it to a certain extent, then it will appear as if this guy or his movement has a real influence or impact on quote unquote Jamaica and Jamaicans. I mean, because the whole Maroon thing, neighbor, it has lost its core value. And I mean, the persons that were characterized as being Maroons, obviously these are not the same persons alive now. So we are offsprings of these Maroons. And obviously our way of life, our concepts, and multiple other things are way different from those that we described or were characterized as being Maroons. They had more than just the fighting trait to them, neighbor. They had several other traits that we're not seeing today, even by the persons that are masquerading for the Maroon community. I mean, the women then who were deemed Maroons and so forth, and the men, we're not showing any, or to a large extent, traits of these people. I mean, a lot of us are not showing these traits. And so to me, this Maroon thing in a Jamaica, neighbor, when you have a bag of bleacher, for example, skin bleacher, I tell you say them are Maroon. I mean, Afrocentrism a part of your whole Maroon identity, neighbor, not just being fierce, not only being resilient, or being a fighter or freedom fighter. You know what I mean? It comes with morals and values. And Afrocentrism is a big part of being a Maroon. And a lot of persons today, neighbor, that drums this Maroon talk and double down on it. Neighbor, their lifestyle and so forth, and the persons that are around them, it's not depicting anything Maroon like, other than just showing that we have some people just putting up a facade, pretending to represent a banner. In fact, I'll go further. I wonder if these people are masquerading behind this Maroon banner as a scam, to scam the persons who they know on the international scene, really and truly cherishes and adores this Maroon thing. I wonder if they use this as a medium to gain funds, as if they're fighting a Maroon cause in Jamaica and they need this massive funding. Because it could be a case where we are not knowing of this information, but it's obviously worth a look into, because these men are not just going to go around and just drum this thing for free. We have a money culture, neighbor. We're very transactional. And I'm wondering if these men are making petition on behalf of us. Yes, us, although they don't recognize everybody as being who they say they are, Maroons and so forth. But I'm wondering
I'm not gonna cut your good stuff, but bro, you raise a very, very important point, bro, a while ago. I'm gonna attest and tell us that yes, neighbor, Gusto, the Maroons, especially Chief Curry, neighbor, this is a guy who's getting a lot of international support, neighbor. A lot of international aid, neighbor. These guys have project running down there to do with water treatment plants. Neighbor, he's getting a lot of outside help, a lot of outside funding. A whole lot he's getting. You're 100% correct, Gusto.
Yes, neighbor. I'm just wondering if it's being used as a scheme to gain funds. Because neighbor, if this thing was bearing the true fruits that it were supposed to, this Maroon thing would have been far spread and more better taught across communities, not school, neighbor, because you don't need this to be taught in schools and schools only and colleges. This thing would have been a more community thing where the so-called Maroon lobbyists them would be going around sensitizing Jamaicans across different parishes, different areas, trying to make them aware as to who they are, or just generally about their Afrocentrism. Because you can't be a Maroon, neighbor, and you do not embrace, you do not uphold Afrocentrism. First thing, these men who were our women are people who were called Maroons. They were going up against a certain color people. And if these people today who masquerade behind the Maroon name are of the color, or they were never of that color that they're now wanting, the oppressor's color, or that them want no. I don't know who to believe, neighbor, because I see the Maroon biggest vice them. I be a bleach, I see a power back of them. And that are far from being Afrocentrism. Maroons stand on Afrocentrism, them believe in them African self, them greatness, them just uphold them melanin and see it as a big part of who they are in terms of their identity. So I'm wondering if these people are conveniently trying to push a Maroon thing to get money. Because I mean, see where it makes sense to the larger masses. I mean, who did tell Curry say me no want to know about Maroon some more? But me not see none of them in my area. Me not see them have nobody a scout and a teach people about the doctrines. Why I don't go in once a year, people hear about this Maroon thing, big celebration. You know what I mean? What happened to the rest of the year? Who the Maroon them have an indelible mark on, since them say a lot of us are offsprings of the Maroons. And that's why them say we are Maroons. Because whenever we are the set, we put up the resistance and carry out the action. So we are probably the offsprings. So me I wonder, what kind of agenda the so-called Maroons them today hope to achieve, if not wanting to include other Jamaicans? Because obviously Curry and him look surrogate them and his minions are not the only offsprings, nor anybody we are lobby for the Maroon community, and not them alone would have been offsprings of the Maroon. The question therefore is, what are their real efforts nationally to merge this community, sensitize it some more across 14 parishes. I so come with a believing that this neighbor, to what extent are these people reaching out to their most vulnerable maroon believers? Because if Corey is trumping this thing so much, he must be heard and must be seen some more across communities, him and his minions. And if these are not happening, who really is this maroon group in Jamaica I represent? Because the vice feed and a fame people them alone are the offspring are so are the maroons. So me no want some people go and like say I feed them bloodline alone people come from the maroons. We come from it too if that's the case. So if we want further knowledge and encourage them, say them are the highest studied man in a hit, hence being a colonel. Come and like me some more, so me not have to carry me little children to a compound town to teach them about the culture. So what them are do for sensitize people and what them are do for help people outside of them at desperate times here, what are their actions on the ground? For sure say yes, this thing must have a core function and so forth, and me no see it. So me no really want to follow up that little thing them more than some neighbor.
Well, sir, you were waxing eloquent. Fantastic, really, Mr. Gustav. Mr. Gustav, I'd love to hear your comments, sir, on the role that media is playing as it relates to misinformation. Gustav, media should be the purveyors of truth. If Jamaica is where it is, Gustav, would you not agree that it would have to be that the media is either failing or the media is part of the purveyors of this information?
Neighbor, on a realistic level, to be honest, there is no media house in the world that is all about just getting out government information out there. These are entities that has bills to pay and individuals to pay. And usually across the world, it seems controversy or misinformation sells best than undiluted truth. You know what I mean? And it's just a harsh reality of the day.
You are saying that a radio station is more interested in its bottom line, its financial bottom line, than actual.
Definitely. I mean, definitely, neighbor. The persons that are the founders are probably not the founders, but the people who are managers now. These people, they're not just in this for good name, quote unquote, good name. These people want to drive luxurious vehicle, have big businesses, and so forth. And if they are making themselves also an avenue through which a political party can spread misinformation and earn from it, neighbor, I don't see why they wouldn't. If they are unpatriotic.
Would you say that this platform spreads misinformation?
It spreads both information, neighbor, and really and truly, it's always the negative that sells most. I mean, well, I don't want to pinpoint a certain radio station, but when a certain radio station was coming to prominence and was getting a lot of fight for the type of music it was playing and so forth, I mean, in no time, them skyrocket to the top, and some people on the other side, over the R side, the side over the R, we say, who, them type of music they know if play upon the radio, and so forth. They were losing traction to the radio station, where they must say, not sound ethical for radio play. So obviously, and then see the same radio station now, by the way, readjust them policy and start to play the type of music them, where them say, they never did want to play the type of music, the same radio station now, where I make the mischief, the same group of company, me I thought we did make the mischief then, against another radio station, over the type music, and they were condemning that radio station. It's the same radio station or group of company now, we have that radio station, had them, they make rearrangement now, and rethink the same thing with them with that bash. So right now, neighbor, it has show say, they were trying to stay, quote unquote, positive, but it was never giving them the airplay or listenership they wanted, and therefore was reducing promotions to which they earn, because you know, say the more prominent your radio station is, you're going to get advertisement, and that is better for your company. And again, neighbor, I feel these media houses, for most part, not all, they're more interested in collecting the dollars than spreading information that will sensitize people as to how policies or any type of government initiative is set to benefit them. And if it were to go off key, I mean, they have the personnel within these media space who can expound, elaborate, and explain to people what would have caused this, and reassure the people that they have a good government, because, I mean, they have the people who can explain this, neighbor. But if they are being paid to say otherwise, or even being paid to stay mute, if they're not being paid to spread misinformation, they could also be paid also to stay silent, right? And therefore now it allows for misinformation to spread like wildfire, and then therefore people now will be riled up with the misinformation, and the group or person that the misinformation is built around, these this is the person that they will target and bring down in a derogatory way because of the misinformation and lies. You know what I mean, neighbor? So I am not surprised, say the media houses are not being informative truthfully all the time with the right information, because these are the same human beings that live out of some of these communities that are predominantly PMP communities, or probably the other way around, you know. But just realistically speaking, them probably come out of one yard where a comrade, so I do him work over here and him go study like hell. Him no business how good country run. Him still believes that him a PMP no matter how much accolades him have. And him feel like him or she feel like she hold the PMP something to bat on behalf of them, if it's even on the grounds of lies or misinformation. So with all of them, the factor there, me would have more to say, neighbor, the people have a duty and also a responsibility. Well, let me say it better then. The government have a duty, but we have the responsibility as a people to pick the right avenues of information.
When the Prime Minister says it's war against misinformation, I'm putting it to you that it's not only social media that is the challenge, therefore, because isn't it traditional media that manages information on behalf of the public, and it is from traditional media that a lot of the information that the social media people have come from?
Yes, because the traditional medias have always been on a pedestal, still being on a pedestal. In other words, I'm gonna say then, boy, me here from a neighbor platform, and from me here from a neighbor platform, sitting have to go so look how long neighbor there. So from a neighbor platform, me here upon sitting must go so, because neighbor them not spreading misinformation. And once the people start to believe in your platform like that, and you start to play upon it in a negative way, then it turns out to hurt the people who are short-sighted, not literate enough, or unread to a certain extent, so they don't understand the things they criticize. You know what I mean? And they have the worst criticism for things they know nothing about. But they run with it, though, neighbor, because of the media house where they put on a pedestal. So them things that when it come from this media house, there's something have to go so.
Yeah. So then, Gustav, the problem is a little greater than maybe even the Prime Minister is thinking, that social media may not be the problem, really.
Sure. Because you have to look from where the fire was started. You know, really where it spread go. You have to look from where it was started. And the fire was started using the traditional media houses and the pundits them who are undercover surrogates of the PMP. Remember, these pundits don't always come out blatantly and say, oh, I'm a staunch supporter of this party or this man. But do you think
the government has a lot of support in the media, Jamaican media?
I think they have a decent amount of support, and it's just because that the support they have within this media group now, it probably finds itself on a non-prominent media house, meaning the ones that are more prominent are the ones that lead at the front with misinformation, and the ones that sides with truth and also the policies of the government are probably more like a subordinate to those that are before or were before them.
Did you know, Gartman, that I was sent an all media survey of that a lot of these radio stations, you know, sir, have no listeners, you know.
Exactly. And then you can, I when you listen to a one-time program for one of them people have them unbiased.
There were 264,000 people listening to this program last month, you know, sir. 264,000. You know how many radio stations in Jamaica?
I'm not sure of the precise number, but I know it's more than probably 15. You know,
it's a lot, sir.
Yes, man.
Yeah, and you know, some of them don't have no listeners, sir.
And I bet you from the percentage that does not have the listenership that the others has, I bet you those platforms or media houses believe in truth and stand more on truth rather than misinformation, and probably part of the reason why they are not among the more prominent media houses.
Yes. You know, sir, I know of a radio station that is running a talk show in the day. I don't think 10 people listen to it. If they go live, they can't make 5 people, sir. Because
are they informative program that they offer?
Well, I don't know. What the point I'm making, Gustav, is that traditional media is really becoming, you know, it's a difficult call. But then there remains in Jamaica some dominant media corporations that people look to as sources of news. So, for example, Politics Plus don't cover Parliament. We don't have the capacity to do it. We can't send journalists to courthouse and Parliament to cover the news. You understand what I'm saying to you? So we have to rely on the traditional media to give us the news. And it is when the traditional media gives us the news that we can analyze it. I wonder if you understand what I'm saying to you.
Yes, sir. I am following.
A blogger or a vlogger don't have any capacity to cover news. They are relying on what comes out on the traditional media. And I'm saying
the traditional media are the persons who can afford to send persons to the courtrooms, to the Parliament, and get these first-hand information. No, we are third-party relayers of this information, or the information.
Not only that, sir, but they have operatives within certain organization that they pay to leak information to them. You know that?
Right.
You know that, sir?
Yeah, so they get first-hand privilege to information that other media houses, and they probably suppress other media houses from getting those information as well, or probably not getting it at all first.
I'm going to tell you something that happened to me one day. I don't want to call any name. I published a car, and the advertisement was to come out on the Sunday. And I got a call from Saturday.
For example.
Remember now, you know, the ad that I took out is supposed to be published Sunday. And I got a call for the car Saturday. How am I able to do that?
Leaked information.
Because someone who is putting the ad in the paper calls out the information to his friend to say, this car is going to be coming out on Sunday. Call from now. That's how it works. So you have leaks, sir, in the very media companies, yes, and in the agencies of government. You know that, sir?
Yes, sir.
That there are people working in the agency that are spies. And some of them were placed there as political operatives, sir, to do nothing but to watch. right? And leak information out to media houses. So the real point, Scratchy, Gustav, is that the war that the Prime Minister speaks of, we will have to look at how traditional media is treating information, because they may be the real problem.
What we need to do, what I think Jamaicans can do, who are believers, true believers of truth and unbiased and non-partisan views, they should pick a radio station or a media house, be it social media, for example, Neighbors platform. And we must seek to build this platform on the credibility that you would have decided to like it for initially. We are trying to build a giant to suppress another giant, or probably use a little axe for a big tree then, neighbor, because really and truly, it won't be possible to even erase these media houses that are strong. But what we need to do is try to create others or another around them that is based on facts, right? Truth, and does not really thrives on misinformation to really earn, right? So by doing so, these people who believe these media houses are not doing them justice will rally around that media house, pull your ads from them the one day, and put it over this one here. Bill it, give it the monetary boost as well, and so forth, and make it a giant on the basis of credibility. But if you just have it like a free market thing where and just this one dominate it, them need competition, and competition make stiff competition, neighbor, make people really pull up them socks. So I guess the predominant media houses that are traditional, them want some more competition. No, they cannot be erased because of how long they have been around. But definitely they cannot avoid competition because of how long they have been around. For example, Cable and Wireless has been around long before Digicel. But look how Digicel with competition make them basically have to play catch up. Still, Digicel has not managed to completely erase the flow or the Cable and Wireless, where we still call it. So that's what competition does, neighbor. So they just need a stiff competition that is more credible, and people are buying to that. And once they recognize, they will lose listenership, and they will lose proper listenership, because persons who were probably thinking that they are no other option but to know that they see that they have another option, they will utilize another option, neighbor. Again, another thing, just like how you see the Starlink rise to prominence, it won't suppress Digicel, it won't suppress Flow, but definitely it go kind of undervalue them thing a little bit. That's what competition does, neighbor.
Okay. On this program right now, there are 420 up there, so, and there are another almost 500 on the For You, Gustav. So our audience right now is close to 1,000. Did you know that?
Man. Yes, man, because even when time I close my camera when I exit a live, it will show you that 3,000 odd somewhat persons would have viewed your thing whilst you were talking. So obviously the host of the platform would have obviously gotten more. So easily I understand using my own data.
Yes. Now, I am looking at my computer screen, and there are several lives happening right at this moment. I will not call their names. The top live in Jamaica every night is Rosalie. I can call her. Oh my God! I tell you, it's okay. She does numbers of 10, 12,000. You know what she speaks about. You go there sometime.
I oftentimes pounce on those live, and to be honest, I stop by, Yeah, I stop by at times, regardless of knowing that these are non-productive live to an extent. I won't be dishonest and tell you that I stick around there sometime, and I in fact can get things to critique that and it sometimes clarifies some data for me as well, neighbor. It gives me a clearer view as to some data that I don't have the resources to know about. So those type of live, when I look and see the 3,000 odd and the 4,000, I say stay there. So them are something I really get a lot of people together, information and things that are not productive. But when productive lives or any streams are of productivity, in terms of productive information are also being put out, They don't get the viewership like these people, and
I'm going to click on it. I just want to make a point. I'm going to click on it, and I want to show to you the point about sensationalism. Gustav, listen to Rosa. She's like,
We're not gonna make it if I'm one. I tell them, oh, more go on social media go talk at you. When the two that go on social media go talk, say, Jakes, fuck you.
You hear?
And here we are discussing current affairs. 429 persons, and she probably has 2,000 odd persons.
No, 10,800.
For example,
you see where I am at.
I know you see where I am at when I say this helps me to clarify some data that I could not have afforded to clarify.
Have I made a point to you, Gustav, that the society is not interested in uplifting themselves. What they are interested in is sensationalism, and because of the clients, Gustav, the stations themselves are forced to sensationalize their product so that they can be relevant. Do I make the point?
Thank you. Transactional. They have to be transactional now. Not informative no more, but transactional.
Okay, so then if I want to, I am barely touching 1,000, and my friend have 10,000 Jamaicans right now listening about Akeem FU. That is what we are interested in. And therefore, Gustav, you see that the market is built in such a way that the people's appetite for facts is very low.
And it's easy now to score political points over there, like how the other side do, because that's what they do, neighbor. They too follow this stupidity, and they recognize all these people who have a little follower base, and they send information to them and rile them up to go against the government. You hear these people? Some of them do live army. We call it video or clippings and say, yo, what do you want to inbox me and say, yo, oh, you know bash Andrew Holness. I mean, I tell them, no, bash no prime minister, because you see. So what they do, neighbor, they go around and them surf the internet, and they see these people who they think they can have an influence on, and they give them misinformation and say, hey, speak on this, and just bash the prime minister upon this. So one day them not care, and if them get that out, them not go back over this.
I go further. The society is so misinformed. You go on the road, Gustav, and you talk to typical Jamaicans about what is happening. They don't know. They know what happened on Rosalie last night. How much something Akeem suck.
Oh God.
You know, Gustav, but they don't know that the government yesterday reset the student loan bureau. They don't know that.
They don't know
that the student loan bureau got what, $6 billion, so that them picnic can go to the student loan bureau and get a loan to go to educate themselves. They don't know that, but they know about Akeem and Wema Sok. The fact of the matter is that our people are not interested in facts, sir. They're not.
Neighbor, you see when these videos stitch 20,000, 23,000, 30, 100 and odd smarty people like them. You want that stay. And when these videos come out with the information that you're putting out, only 6,000 cents every Jamaican might like them are just nearly 20,000. But it's when these stupidity are put out, neighbor, 100 and odd thousand people like it. I said, Jaja, these are information I use to help clear up some data that I couldn't normally pay to get clear up.
No, I know I'm spending a little time with you, but I'm sure my listeners are understanding. That is the problem. That is the war that we need to wage, Gustav, goes beyond misinformation, you know, Gustav. It goes beyond conversation in the society about what is it that our people are interested in.
Yes, their priorities. Their priorities. What do they see as priority versus what they do not see as priority?
Right, because it is not that. Hear me now. It is not that the information is not out there. Gustav, Parliament keep every week. Parliament keep every week, and it is live on PBCJ. Not true.
And it hardly hits triple figures.
And you never, you go over PBCJ and go watch Parliament. No.
Double figures.
Double figures. Okay? So it's not
Double
that the
figures.
it's not that the information is not out there good stuff. It is that the people they're not interested in the information. They are interested in propaganda. They are interested in sensationalism. They are interested in sardine and rice. And they are interested in Akeem and him Soki.
And before you end with me, neighbor, in fact, remember we had this type of conversation last year, and we were doubling down. Yourself and I was doubling down on it, saying that, look, we have a current affairs issue. I mean, in terms of people being current affairs literate, it is a crisis in Jamaica. And these are the lives that help to show us that we are right. Because if 10,000 odd people go over there, and a minister live now outline the government's latest policies, strategies, or programs that are going to be for the people, and he only has 400 and odd Jamaicans probably listening.
I saw the Minister of Labor and Social Security. I saw the Minister of Agriculture on last night, trying to give information on restoration. At 230 people, Mr. Day.
Exactly.
230 people.
All right, neighbor. It was on TikTok here, Mr. Charles, Perennial Charles himself was outlining to Jamaicans how himself and the Foreign Affairs Minister and the ministry would have been in robust dialogue with the Canadian government in relation to the overseas farmer program in terms of like increasing the amount of Jamaicans, because obviously, neighbor, these people don't recognize that for the farmer program, Jamaica has competition, stiff competition from other hardworking males from other regions and other countries. No, it is because of strong bilateral talks and so forth by our ministers, why we can have an expansion of the farmer program. So, for example, if under one point 10,000 persons were being required a year, it was the minister's choice, neighbor, or the government of the day, which is the JLP, to negotiate.
Rosalie, neighbor.
Yeah, you got a Rosalie, for example, ironically.
What is that now? Is a Rosalie again?
Yeah, the wheel is called Rosalie.
Oh, how will you say? Let's listen
Yeah,
at
big like her.
Hold on, listen up. Rosie?
Hold on, Anaki. Come here. So, Armor.
Are you cooking?
Yeah.
Well, the profanity there is that is what Jamaicans are interested in. I tell you the truth. I'm just doing this to make the point to you.
Yeah, doubling down.
Information is available, Gustav. It is available. But people don't want it.
Right.
They don't want it.
And in London, neighbor, a lot of man will come and tell us, say, who a PMP give me farm work and thing. And here another man come on alive. A farm me, I see man I go on farm work. At the first, never see so much young people I go on farm work. And he not stop for check and say, but wait. Me just make a talk like that. But a different government, me see it happen under this must have something to do with the government of the day. More Jamaicans, neighbor, in fact, literally more young people have gone on the overseas employment program, the farm work, under the Jamaica Labour Party than any other government ever in a Jamaica before. No other government have the record for sure of more Jamaicans going overseas on the overseas employment program, the farm work one. And this government, right? Even with this minister, we have now a Minister of Labour, Mr. Charles himself would have repeatedly doubled down as to how much of a constant dialogue Jamaica and the Canadian government keeps having in relation to our people having better work conditions in Canada. A man used to come and tell you, say, yo, I'm not go back on farm work in Canada because, yo, boy, you see some place and then make we stay. Then him friend tell him, say, yo, things change. Him no recognize it, and no magic make it change, and no just good faith. He thinks that God just talk to the person them over there and make it change. You understand what I say? That time of the minister, you remember time the Jamaicans they used to make video neighbor and show us to the how the conditions were that they were subjected to live under as farm workers. Neighbor, that has changed completely. And the minister himself went over Canada, had dialogues with the Canadian government in relation to improving conditions that Jamaicans are being asked or were being asked to live under as farm workers. Now these people are enjoying better work conditions and so forth and are being treated better. In fact, some of them money where PNP they set up some policy if you go in at the JLP say no, leave the farm worker them.
Have to thank you.
All right.
Respect, good stuff. Well, we thank you for sending your gifts, roses and donuts and whatever. Thank you so much, all right? Thank you for supporting a program like this on TikTok, Politics Plus.
The people are saying it is true. Just to double down, the people are saying, even person here saying that their family have said that the condition have gotten better and so forth. So these information, when being spread, only have 406 somebody, 200 and somebody. So that's the reason why we're at the place where we're at now. You know what I mean? We're very low on current affairs literacy, and it makes us devious and so forth.
I think the Prime Minister needs to launch a war on illiteracy in Jamaica, sir. War on illiteracy.
No joke, man. No joke.
The war must be.
It's a pandemic. It's an illiteracy pandemic. We're in an illiteracy pandemic right now. I'm all right. Let me not. Yeah.
Yes.
Epidemic.
The war that we need. You see, sir. An intelligent person is not easy to be misinformed. You know. It's not. A person who is a critical thinker is not easily misinformed like you, like Scratchy. I mean, look at you, Gustav. You went to the university, sir?
And right now, neighbor, we not even done high school properly, you know, but we finish the school still.
There you go. But yet still, you're a man that obviously reads. You're a man that is interested in current affairs. You invest in yourself. And so you are able to come up on a platform and use words that I don't even understand. Yes? People listening to you would not know. My dear Scratchy, who is a co-host of this program, told us about his story. Right? He's not a university graduate either. But listen to him. He has a wealth of information, of knowledge. Literacy don't mean that you need to have a university degree. We need a...
And I mean, we keep on saying, it don't mean that you have to be bright like Jody and Maxwell. It don't mean that you have to be bright like Jimmy Newton.
Right. But you're investing your time. When you sit here every evening and you listen to what is happening, you are investing in yourself, in your development. Right? You are gathering information that you didn't know. I am learning too. I am learning from you. I am learning because I have to do the research, to write the notes, to come on the program. So I develop myself. The war must be...
Neighbor, in other words, what you're saying, neighbor, I would use what you're saying and allude to a scripture from Proverbs. And I love to use this reference. Proverbs 15 verse 14. A discerning heart seeks knowledge, but the mouth of the fool feeds on folly.
Ah, well, there you go. We can end with that, sir. We can end with that. Thank you, Gustav.
Disregard, sir.
All right. We are gonna go to Scratchy and Harry. But we have Mitzi. You want to say something, girl? You want to say something, Mitzi? No, she's gone. No, she's not gone. She's here. Mitzi. We need a war. We need a war against ignorance in Jamaica. We need a war. The war is to be against ignorance. Too many of our people are too easily misled. They are not investing in themselves. Um, let's go to my friend Adiba, and before we go to our order. Good evening to you, sir.
How are you, man?
I am fine. We started a conversation this morning, and I was looking for you earlier, man.
Yes, yes. I was doing some got caught up in some other stuff. But neighbor, what I wanted to talk to you about this morning was the whole matter of the awareness of the government now. The government, I think the government got up on it too late.
Got up on what too late?
The misinformation.
Oh,
I think they allowed it to play out for too long, because even the announcement of the lady, I think Jump, that's the name?
Yes.
Yes. I think even that thing was published even before the general elections, and persons are saying, oh, at least you apologize. It is not about the apology. It is about the seed that was sown of discord. Neighbor, she painted that picture, and the opposition feed that narrative to their followers, and the followers, every crevice and corner of Jamaica you go, neighbor, you hear them. Andrew Holness a thief, the JLP a thief, the government a thief, Andrew Holness rub up this, Andrew Holness rub up that, and it is false. But I'm happy now that the government see what is going on, because neighbor, mind you, the opposition has no other way of trying to derail the government but by misinformation. But by misinformation. And the populace has to be careful, and I want well-thinking Jamaicans to come out and fight against this thing, because it's very dangerous.
Well, how do you fight something that the people are not interested in, sir? I just made a point that I suspect that the war that we need to have in Jamaica is a war against ignorance, a war against illiteracy. Because I think to the extent that the society, sir, is misinformed, is to the extent that they want to be misinformed. The information is out there.
It is true, but guess what?
Well,
you have deliberate.
Hold on. You know, sir, the government before the hurricane, the government used to have daily press conferences.
Yes.
After the hurricane, they were having almost daily. They are now every week they are out there putting out information, and yet still we say we don't have enough information. We have information, sir. People are not reading.
Neighbor,
people are not interested in the information.
neighbor, you have to look on it even to a biblical perspective. Remember that the spirit, our soul and our body is not separate. They are one, yes? And daily the Bible tells us that we fight. It's a war in the mind, neighbor. It's a war going on in the mind, whether to do good or whether to do bad, because the flesh wants to do this, but the spirit is saying no. It is in the mind. It is the same thing in the country now. The government is putting out the truth. The government is being transparent, but the opposition is feeding the narrative to the low-minded people that want to see Andrew Holness and the Jamaica Labour Party and the government fail. So the more they put that out there, you have the ones, the bloggers, you have those ones, and they're talking the things. I believe the government need to come out with a law that fight these things, neighbor, because it is very serious.
Did you see the Gleaner's editorial today?
No, I did not.
Well, you should go and look at it.
It is crazy.
Damoclean Marley. The Gleaner is saying that free speech and freedom of the press must be maintained in Jamaica. I think the Gleaner is actually arguing that what Marlene was saying about, I wonder if I could find it, what Marlene was saying about, people spreading these misinformation and all of that, and that we need to look at some legislation to correct.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The leader says no. Leave things as they are, and I am arguing, sir, that I would probably need to do a little bit more research to find out in societies that are more literate with higher levels of education. How is it in those societies? Because I think we have a problem in Jamaica, so with the levels of education.
Truth. 100% truth, neighbor. Because that is a fact. And you see, the people that you would have expected to be fair and frank and just speak the truth for what it is, those people, neighbor, are now spreading the misinformation. Those are the ones that are spreading the information to, you know. And it is starting from when you look on the street people, when you walk in the towns and in communities, and you hear the conversations, neighbor, you have to tell yourself that there's something wrong with these people in the country. And
But
I think illiteracy is the problem.
Sir, that there are dozens of lives happening in Jamaica right now.
Yes.
And the ones that have thousands of views, sir, are the ones where it's pure, you know, sir, listen to me. We have to decide what we want. And I believe that the government has its task cut out for it in this society, sir, that our people are, you know, our people are not interested in the news. They're not interested in knowing what is happening, sir. They're not.
You know, neighbor, you know what I saw? I saw the other day in the Senate, a member from the opposition benches got up and said about the relief, what is going on down in West. And the member of parliament, Angela Brownberg, came back into the parliament. And the same line that the senator spoke, it is the same line that the member of parliament came into the parliament, and she said the exact same thing. And when I'm saying, what the hell is going on? So it is a plot to derail the government. It is a plot to fight against the truth. And I think Jamaica needs to wake up and stop being ignorant. They need to wake up and stop being ignorant, neighbor, because this is going to cause chaos in our democracy. It will. And if Jamaica don't see Mark Golding for what he is by now, neighbor, I don't know how they're going to see it again.
Yeah. Now, hold on. Listen to this. In societies with higher education levels, misinformation can spread, but it's often more nuanced. People with higher levels of education are more effective at rationalizing their biases, making them more resistant to facts. One of the worst things that is happening in Jamaica, my brother, is that the ignorance of our people are being exploited.
Yes, neighbor. Thank you.
And you know, sir, sometimes I wonder if it is in the interest of some politicians to educate people.
No. Neighbor, it's not. You know why? Let me tell you why. What I've observed. If you observe the Jamaica Labour Party government, you see, what you can see is that they are very strategic in the way they do things. They don't bum rush things. They don't just want to do to please the people. They want to, what the people are getting is good. What the people are getting is fair and balance. That's what the government is got to do. But when you look on the opposition wouldn't want everything to be chaos. When you hear them talk, it's all about chaos. When you hear them talk recklessness, the government cannot have it. The other day in Parliament on Tuesday, you hear the opposition leader, 40,000 people voted for them. What is it telling you? 400 and whatever. You know what is that? What he's trying to say? They have a right to tell the government and to tell the government what to do and how to do it and when to do it. They are not the government. They are not the government, neighbor.
Yeah, I wonder, sir, whether it is in the interest of some people for the people to be educated, because I believe that the more you inform and educate people, the more they are able to make rational decisions. By the way, are you not concerned? Let me ask Scratchy. Scratchy, hold on there.
Yes, neighbor.
Scratchy, are you not concerned as to the caliber of members of parliament that are being recruited to the parliament on the opposition side? You're not concerned about it?
I'm definitely neighbor. We have to be concerned, neighbor. I told you that was one of the things, neighbor, why we have seen our society, the water down in our society as a result, neighbor, of the type of politician that we start to choose. When you look at the opposition benches, neighbor, you see the persons who are over there. And you look at, say, you go, oh gosh, imagine if these persons had won the election. Who would be the minister of this? Who would be the minister of that? The caliber is watered down, neighbor. It has watered down right down to a mediocre level, neighbor, to a basic level. And I think that is one of the reasons why persons are not interested. I want to know anything about politics and politicians again, because you find that politicians come right down to your community level now, neighbor. Imagine now you are a politician. When I was young growing up, neighbor, we used to say politician as higher level person, but imagine now you are a politician. She's a member of parliament and you can say in your constituency to say, yeah, even though she's a member of parliament, she did there with Ramsey and everyone there, so she and one man up there so did there. She and a man down there so they didn't know a
No respect for the MP, sir.
No respect. I respect you as an MP when I know everything about you.
Hold on, Trachi. Let's hear from Caroline. Go ahead.
Excuse me for a second, please. Okay, for Ruth, Ruth is asking, Ruth Edwards, I apparently mistyped the Zelle number. It is 954-635-8732. Oh, carry on, neighbor. Could you please repeat it for me, please?
Sure. 954, this is so important for me to do. 954-635-8732. Okay, Ruth, let's go again. 954-635-8732. 954-635-8732. All right. Scratchy, it's performative. Mr. Scratch?
Yes, neighbor.
These MPs are performing for the stage.
Definitely, neighbor. Stage performance,
They want
neighbor.
to
They
find
don't
one
understand.
moment in fact. Have you noticed that when they are asking questions in Parliament, they are asking it for the camera?
Neighbor, all of these new member of parliaments, neighbor, when they come to parliament on a Tuesday, neighbor, they want to leave with the bite of the week. That is what they are rushing for. Yes, that is what they are fighting for, neighbor. They want when time parliament finish, they are the spotlight. They are the ones who are being talked about. And that just show you that these persons understand how government works.
But Miss Burchell. Miss Burchell is the number one.
Yes.
All she wants is media publicity. Miss, you know, I marvel. I actually marvel that people say, why me not come off of Miss Burchell? Me not depend Miss Burchell. Me not depend Miss Burchell. So, listen, if you watch Miss Burchell in Parliament, Miss Burchell don't have a clue. Miss Burchell is only trying to create a moment that she can either be on TV or be the talk of the town. Nothing not there.
I hear the females on TikTok with a new talk, neighbor, and I would like to tell Miss Burchell that Miss Burchell, you're not that girl, Miss Burchell. I think she's trying to be that girl too much, neighbor. And it is clear as day that Mrs. Burchell, you're not that girl, to be honest. We can I don't know, neighbor, I don't want to say it, but looking at Miss Burchell, there's a lot that I can see. Miss Burchell is definitely not that girl, neighbor. Not definitely not that girl.
She's so fake. She's empty. She's empty. She's an empty barrel.
I tell you something. I hear her trying to lecture Mr. Smith. And I said to myself, good God, Mr. Smith, about simile and metaphor. Every week, Miss Burchell is trying to get a bite of the week. But generally speaking, Scratchy, these new MPs, it's a water down of the politics, Scratchy.
a total water down of our politics on the opposition side, neighbor. When you look at even the People's National Party, neighbor, when you look at the persons who the People's National Party used to put forward as candidate neighbors or even members of parliament, neighbor, when you compare these set, neighbor, when you look at even Chris Brown and Newell, persons like those, neighbor, I have to really laugh. That's why when time I hear persons talking about coup and overthrow government, I'm saying all the weakest of PNP in the history of Jamaica for overthrow the strongest Jamaica Labour Party government in the history of Jamaica. So these are things that I just laugh at me when I hear certain things. But definitely about water down. When you look, I heard earlier, neighbor, you talk about the intelligence of the Jamaican people. So that yes, there need to be a war on literacy and illiteracy. I understand that, neighbor. But one of the main things that I think why someone like a Rosalie and those persons, neighbor, can attract 20, 30,000 persons on their life. And it is not just unique to Jamaica, neighbor, all over the world. The advent of social media, neighbor, all of these so-called creators or influencers, neighbor, they garner more support than the government. But Jamaica in particular, neighbor, there's a limited amount of Jamaicans, neighbor, who conduct business with the government. And those are the only persons who are interested in what government have to say and what government have to do. A high amount of our population, neighbor, they do not conduct any business with government. They do not come in contact. They can go to a whole year, neighbor, and don't come in contact with government. These persons are not paying any light bill. These persons are not paying any water bill. These persons don't go to tax office for the whole year. These persons are not paying any property tax. These persons are not paying any mortgage, any form of rent. So, neighbor, these persons are not going to want to have nothing to hear what government have nothing to do with, because whatever government have to say have nothing to impact their life because they're living far from government. So I think, neighbor, the person that are Jamaicans, neighbor, I wouldn't say they are worthless, but we have a society, neighbor, where we have a lot of idlers in our society, and we have a lot of unresponsible persons who don't have any responsibility. Neighbor, if you had a mortgage and you had a rent, you have property tax on a certain aspect, you would be tuning into what government have to say, because mortgage, rent, all of those things, neighbors, are driven by government policies. No, when I have my free water, I don't care what government want to come talk about water commissioner. Free me, I get water. I don't care about the JPS and then $150 million to the government telling JPS $150 million. I get my light free. I just bring up my wire outside and get my light. So these things don't concern these people, neighbor, because these people are living too free. And we need to get these people for a level.
Informality of the society. The informal sector is too large.
The informal sector of the country is too large, neighbor. We have too many persons who are a part of the informal sector, neighbor. That is why we have persons who are directly pulling themselves and don't know nothing neighbor, these persons, they know when part money are run, neighbor. They know when there's an increase in part. They know when there's an increase in the minimum wage. So how come they don't know nothing is that government is offering? They only care about things that directly benefit them.
Very good. Very good. Very good. But I tell you, Scratchy. Is someone pointed out to me that realize, neighbor, that the MPs are just weak. They're not weak. They're weak, Scratchy. They just going.
They're weak, neighbor.
Scratchy, they are looking on the 28 to top of the government. That's what they are using also to say, oh, we are over here, we're strong, and anything we say, the government has to listen to us. It's absolutely rubbish.
I think this is the weakest opposition here that we've ever seen. The weakest opposition.
They are weak. Yes, Tuesday I was listening to Isaac Buchanan, and I was like, what is this man trying to say? What much try if he say? He's trying to sound intelligent and not what must say. It's not. It does not adding up. It does not add up, and all of them over there, them just get up every Tuesday and ask questions, and the questions where them ask, neighbor, you just have to wonder, what is their motive?
Yes.
Definitely, neighbor, I agree there. This is the worst opposition party that we've ever seen, neighbor, the worst members of our opposition party, neighbor, and that is why, neighbor, when I hear this argument about overthrow and coup, neighbor, that is why it irritates me so much, neighbor. Because I don't see, neighbor, we have passed the days, neighbor, where the Jamaica Labour Party rule the world. 80s, neighbor, where we're at right now, neighbor, in terms of our institutions and our strength, neighbor. We weren't as strong. We are much stronger than 1980. We didn't have an overthrow of the government in 1980, despite the Jamaica Labour Party ruling the entire 80s. The People's National Party, again, neighbor, ruled the entire 90s to early 2000. There wasn't an overthrow of the government, despite they having certain strength and stuff like that. So I can't see it, neighbor. I just can't see it, neighbor. And I just can't understand, neighbor, how persons would push and say that the opposition is planning to coup or try to overthrow, and then 1 minute we big up the security forces and say the security forces are more professional arm. Neighbor, if I am a simple person and you and I have privy to information that the opposition is planning a coup, I am sure that the police, neighbor, would be have that, or anybody who knows those information, go to the police. And persons need to understand, neighbor, that the prime minister, neighbor, persons need to understand that don't think the prime minister thing is a play thing, and Jamaica is a play country. Neighbor, any parish or anywhere that the prime minister is going, neighbor, threat level is conducted, neighbor, before the prime minister goes to that area. So don't think that the police are more behind the prime minister, or some little fool police. It is a protective arm of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, neighbor. They are led differently. They are the one lead, and they do the one inspect, they do the one investigation and everything. They conduct a threat level every single day surrounding the prime minister, neighbor. The prime minister life is not under no threat, and the government is not going to be under no coup. And as supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor, we have to be careful the message that we are sending out there. We cannot continue to cause fear among our people. We must be know that, yes, our government is strong and our government is resilient, and no PNP neighbor can government 28 Mark Gold and him 27 millions cannot overthrow the strength of this government. How are they going to overthrow the government, neighbor? I don't know what kind of labor rights some of these people know, neighbor, but the labor rights who I know and the labor rights where I come from, neighbor, are not going to sit and watch junglist supporters or no other supporters, neighbor, rally against Andrew Michael Holness and the JLP government. So I just can't see it, neighbor. What I want person to understand, neighbor, that the political landscape is changing. We just have an election 2 months ago. Stop make it look like, neighbor, like it's next week an election or the prime minister is in problem. The prime minister is in no political problem, neighbor.
4 years and 10 months.
4 years and 10 months, neighbor, the country voted overwhelmingly for the prime minister 2 months ago. This guy, they behave like this man is a man where even in a parliament time have a 1-seat majority. Neighbor, the prime minister is fully all right. The prime minister is not stupid. The government is not fool. The government know exactly what is going on. The government know exactly what they are doing, neighbor. No coup or nothing will be successful. Or any coup we are planned, the full length of the law, neighbor, will take these people. And the last point they're going to make, neighbor, the People's National Party is losing support where they want it. Neighbor, it's a politics. Only the poor people alone die-hearted, neighbor. Poor people alone are the die-hearted ones. Neighbor, the business persons who are contractors and persons who support the People's National Party. These persons are not going to go into a third term, neighbor, in our opposition and a suffer. These persons are turning to the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor, because the contractors...
Transactional, eh?
It's transactional for them, neighbor. Neighbor, it is transactional for them. And they're not going to sit and be no die-hearted and die of hunger being die-hearted, neighbor. These guys have a certain lifestyle to maintain, and they're going to fall in line with the government because the government is in a third term. Yeah, but the government is strong, the government is resilient, and there's nothing that can topple on Jamaica Holness and this Jamaica Labour Party government. Nothing. We are not under no coup. We are not under nothing. Nobody can overthrow this government. This is Jamaica, neighbor. One of the strongest constitutions of the Caribbean. Neighbor, you think we can have IMF money, have World Bank money, have all of these multilateral agency money and talk about coup and overthrow government? Overthrow which government?
Quite true.
No government, not a threat, neighbor. The government is solid and strong.
Neighbor?
Huh?
Just a moment, please. I'm asking for contribution, please.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can push that out a little bit. Who do we have? We have Harry come back, and who is that? Delroy Daly. Who is that?
Yeah. Good night.
Hello.
Yeah. Blessed. Good night. Blessed.
Hold on, blessed. We can't bless unless we find the funds to keep the program going. So you hold on a little bit. All right. 800 and odd people watching here. Out of the 800 and odd, we must can find 10 persons too. How many people? How much you need there, moderator?
Well, neighbor, I'm asking for $180.
There you have 24 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're asking the listeners to jump on now to 954-635-8732. 954-635-8732. And help us to do that. Let's take a minute and see if we can do that. We're pausing for a cause because the show has to be funded. All right, let's go. Good night to you, Garth man. I know you're listening. Okay. Taking a pause for, oh my goodness. By the way, you can catch the repeat of this show on YouTube. My friend on YouTube. It's what is it? Two Grand TV. As a matter of fact, we're live right now on YouTube on JLP Politics in Jamaica. If you type in that, there are 180 persons watching on YouTube right now. Live. So when you add that to the numbers right here, you know we are way over 1,000 live views watching right now. Caroline, how are you doing?
Not doing, neighbor, not doing at all.
Not doing, okay. Okay, well.
Not doing, neighbor, not neighbor. Neighbor, perhaps you could ask government to sponsor the program, could you?
Say that?
Could you ask government to sponsor the program?
You just, I have not unblocked him yet tonight. I had forgotten to do that. So D wants the cash app. Could you send it to her, please? All right, so want to say hi to my friends over there on YouTube watching on JLP Politics in Jamaica. How you doing, my YouTube friends? I see you're very busy over there, man. Well, welcome. You here?
Doing at all.
Not doing, okay. All right, Marie Love, I see you on YouTube saying great work, neighbor. I see you, Marie. At Lloyd. Yep. We're going to go back to Scratchy. Saying good night to you there over on YouTube. The Politics Plus Live. If you type that in, you should get the program live, and it's 2 Grand TV, JLP Politics. They are carrying this program live. They have been carrying it for almost 6 months. Saying good night to Paulette Bartley. Paulette Bartley, you're on the YouTube channel. Good night to you. Marie Love 77. Great having you over here. We are well listening to you. Okay, thank you. I'll remember to hail you up on YouTube. So Scratchy, you're saying that the Prime Minister is safe. There is no threat to his person, and that the security detail of the Prime Minister is top notch, and they do, without revealing how they operate, but I think akin to the United States President, that the security does their assessment and are aware of any threat and are properly able to nullify it. Same.
Definitely, neighbor. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that go behind the scene, neighbor, in terms of the protection of the Prime Minister, neighbor. His security detail, that would be made public, but common sense would tell you that, neighbor, that the Prime Minister is protected in terms of his person, as I said earlier, neighbor. The Prime Minister is someone who's out there, neighbor. I'm not seeing a Prime Minister who's backing off of the streets or backing from the road because of whatever external threat some persons are saying that is out there. So based on what I'm seeing, neighbor, I'm not seeing any threat towards the Prime Minister. There was some form of threat out there toward the Prime Minister, neighbor. I'm sure the security detail would have restricted his movement. We'd have seen a massive increase. We'd have seen snipers or helicopters or certain other security measure means to protect the Prime Minister, neighbor. And I'm not seeing that. It's because the threat level or whatever is assessment that is done, neighbor, is not sending that type of message, neighbor. But we have to understand, neighbor. If the People's National Party decide that they want to do a protest, neighbor, December 8th, that is not a coup, and that should not be seen as a coup. Our legislation give persons, neighbor, our constitution give every single person the right to assemble peacefully, as long as it is within the realms of the law. Anybody can go stand up in the sun. Anybody can go do that as long as it's within the law. So we can't hear them have said them go plan and say this is a coup, them a try overthrow the government. The little thing we go on don't want sentence back with a female I try to breach the security detail. We have to hear look what them nearly do the Prime Minister. It never stop anything. Or the threat level was much a proportion of the threat. The proportion of the, from the security detail, it matched the threat level what she did bring. She wasn't found with any weapon. She wasn't found with a bomb strap on her. So I don't see, I can't look on that one situation and say she was attempting to coup the Prime Minister, overthrow the Prime Minister. We have to be careful, neighbor, and the information we have spew out there, neighbor. We have persons, so it's a person who support the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor. I never say they are coward, that too strong of a word. These are persons who are professional, neighbor. These are persons who are not confrontational, neighbor. So these persons with these type of things, neighbor, these persons will start to get a certain way. Last night in the chat, I hear persons saying that they're in their bed and they're scared to know things like this being planned towards the Prime Minister. I am not seeing it, neighbor. It is simple, not possible, neighbor. I don't see it. I don't see how a coup will be done, neighbor. I don't see it if it is done through the administrative part of government, through agencies or anything like that. There's only one particular agency right now where I can say, yes, this agency look like they are not really into the government, but is that agency alone strong enough to overthrow the government? I don't think so, neighbor. When you look at our coup apparatus, again, you look at the security apparatus of the country, neighbor, I don't see the security apparatus seem compromised to me. The police force doesn't seem compromised to me. The military doesn't seem compromised to me. So again, I'm not seeing it from that angle now. When I go over to the opposition benches now, when I look at the opposition benches, the 28 of them, I'm saying, yes, there might be one and two of them in this group here who might think that they can overthrow the government, but they don't have the strength. Amar Newell can't overthrow the government. Nikisha Burchell can't overthrow the government, neighbor. Chris Brown can't overthrow the government. Ulika just cannot overthrow. These persons don't have the political capital. They don't have the financial capital. When you look at the international scene, neighbor, like a governments who get overthrown, the neighbor get help from overseas international personnel.
Yes.
Our Prime Minister is getting a lot of help, neighbor. He's well admired and loved internationally. So I don't see which international organization or country is colluded with the opposition to overthrow the government. Neighbor, I cannot see it. Every single angle that I look on it from, I cannot see it. If Mark Golden decides they want to rally 1,000 people from jungle, if you go march up at the Prime Minister office and go overthrow more time office, neighbor, come on, we have labor rights of communities who can march and rally and do things to neighbor. Who is going to sit and watch the opposition or anybody overthrow the government? Neighbor, when government gets overthrown or a coup or a plan against government, neighbor, it has to be from a majority of the citizens. And I'm not getting that from the Jamaicans, neighbor. Everything the people now starve, people now suffer. Why when time our poverty rate was 21%, the government never get overthrown? Why when our employment rate was 28%, the government never get overthrown? So why no government is going to get overthrown, neighbor, when poverty is at its lowest, unemployment is at its lowest, crime and violence is at its lowest, and you're telling me that as no government all get overthrown because of these things? From 28 persons who we all say is the weakest opposition that we've ever seen in history. And we have said these 28 weak people are overthrow the government. Neighbor, I can't see it. Yes, misinformation is being spewed out there, neighbor. But whatever misinformation is spewed, neighbor, it must be combated with facts.
But
That's what we
of
need to come on.
what of the idea, Scratchy, that the propaganda that we are seeing is funded by the party opposite, that this is an orchestrated plot, and even though the coup may not be physical, But such is the misinformation in the society that the people may get to a point where they vote the government out.
I mean, definitely, neighbor, and that is not, that would be classified as a coup, neighbor. I don't think
No,
that is
that's not
something that is
cool,
unique.
but in terms
Yeah,
of
I don't think that is something that is unique to Jamaica, neighbor. That was the same thing 1962 when we had our first election. 1972, every election you come, neighbor, it has to be about misinformation. It's always been about misinformation. Mr. Siaga lost consecutive election because of misinformation. So it's just the government's, neighbor, our political parties, neighbor, to see how best they can combat misinformation. How can they rebut? What kind of style you can come in to rebut these persons who are coming with the misinformation? Because one thing, neighbor, the misinformation is already out there. It is out there surfacing in the air. So how do you stop it? How do you prevent it? How do you stop it? So what we need to understand, neighbor, what are we doing? Are we going to track or attack misinformation when it is put out there? Are we going to put things in place, neighbor, to prevent it totally? We cannot be reacting to reaction to misinformation, you know. You see, we continue to react to misinformation. It will always look this way, neighbor, like we are running behind it with the facts, trying to clear it up. We must put in preventative measures. Preventative measures are legislation, neighbors. We're going to bar persons from coming first and spew this, neighbor. Once the message is already put out there, the damage has already done. The damage has already been done from it is put out, neighbor.
Are you telling me? Are you saying to me that the government is damaged?
Yeah, but whatever. I mean, from the opposition side, persons from the opposition, yes, they might say that based on the information that they're spewing to damage the government. Of course, but internationally, the government is not damaged. With all the misinformation that is spewed, neighbor, we just secure a $1.76 billion loan, the highest loan package in the history of Jamaica.
6.7.
Despite all the misinformation, neighbor, we wanted to garner the most international aid in a disaster in the history of Jamaica. So you find, neighbor, that the misinformation, neighbor, it is local.
And you are correct. The World Bank did come down here and say that we led a world lead in recovery. The opposition is still saying that it is lacking. The World Bank is saying it's world leading. And so you are correct, Scratchy, that they are not believing this misinformation. They work with the facts.
They work with the facts, neighbor. The misinformation, neighbor. What we need to understand, neighbor, that it's a politics. This is Jamaica. We're very tribal. What we need to understand, neighbor, is whatever the opposition is doing, neighbor, we as supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party need to find our one unique way and combat it. I have telling neighbor there's other ways to combat what the opposition is doing, but we are not doing it. We are not calling them out on a certain level. You come on social media, yes, I will try to rebut them, but we do it in a more formal way, where it might not come across because them do for them more in a way more way like Rosalie style, we connect more with the people. Meanwhile, we do it on a more higher level. So it's just for all of us to just come out, neighbor, and show our support. But personally, from my standpoint and me, neighbor, I don't see this government under threat right now. I am concerned about the misinformation, but I am not worried. I'm concerned to a level, neighbor, because I know what misinformation can cause locally. And the reason why I'm not worried, neighbor, is because the misinformation is just bubbling among one set of people. Everybody who is taking on to this misinformation, neighbors, are comrades, are persons who are in line with the People's National Party, so I cannot worry myself. If I see well-thinking Jamaicans now are taking on to this, then neighbor, I would definitely be worried and say, whoa, this is a call for concern now, because well-thinking Jamaicans who I think have sense and tend to say that they are not on any side. I'm not worried, neighbor. All I see the misinformation is connecting towards our persons who already support the People's National Party, persons who already are inclined and in bed with the People's National Party. I don't see it resonating on anyone else who have neutral and sense and understanding. It's just a PNP thing, neighbor. It's a political thing, and it's just the supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party need to be more robust.
They are spreading it to the choir, their own people, not affecting labor rights, not affecting the society. Is that what you're saying?
Not affecting labor rights, neighbor. The PNP haven't said anything, neighbor, that can convince many of the labor rights or anybody if you go say, yeah, this is true and come over. The PNP hasn't said anything, neighbor, that the common person or the person who consider themselves to be and by and political neighbor will say yes, it's true neighbor. Everybody is looking in and looking out themselves neighbor. Everybody is seeing things. This is like what the PNP is saying. Persons are seeing things for themselves neighbor. Persons are getting an understanding of things themselves neighbor. Persons are family members who they connected with and friends who can share information and explain things better to them neighbor. So whatever the People's National is doing neighbor, it is just to keep their base alive. It is just to keep their base rallied. And I think supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party, we must be more combative in more go out and do these things there. But it cannot just be on social media alone.
Hold on. You are saying that they should be more combative, sir? What do you mean by that?
When I say combative neighbor, when we have these platforms, neighbor, this is the thing to you, neighbor. You ask your question already. They said to me, Scratchy, how far you think or what strength or what extent do you think that bloggers on social media help the political party in the last election? And I told you that yes, neighbor, I think the bloggers helped to a certain extent. Neighbor, the political war or the political whatever, neighbor, it cannot be fought on social media alone. It cannot be fought on social media alone, neighbor. It cannot, neighbor. Persons, same way like persons, the same way like I see persons here online, neighbor, organize and say today we are gonna wear blue and we're gonna stand with the police of Jamaica. Oh, me not hear nobody say we're gonna stand with the government of Jamaica.
No, I never organized anybody to wear blue, sir.
Oh, you didn't? I thought it was a part of it.
No, sir. I only put on my blue shirt tonight. No, sir. I never.
So nothing is wrong with supporting the blue neighbor. Nothing is wrong with that. But same way like how you could launch a platform like that and say yes, we're gonna support the blue and everybody wear blue today. Neighbor, come out and launch something to stand against misinformation. Gleaner is down at North Street. Line up and say, yo, who can help fund for who send 300 people go stand up in front of Gleaner and go create like a peaceful protest and let Gleaner know that we're sick and tired of what you're doing. Just let it come out there, neighbor. Just let it come out there in the ear that yes, people are protesting against it. Neighbor, the Gleaner company is a publicly traded company, you know. These are persons who are investors, you know. We can cause problem on Gleaner and neighbor if we decide to rally against Gleaner and them start lose profit, you know. The investors are not going to come out and call out the chairman and ask him resignation and step down from the board, big man, because you're going to lose. Neighbor, if I am a shareholder in the Gleaner company and I am watching my news and I constantly see supporters or people from the country, I go against a rebel against the company, neighbor, I have to call out the chairman at some point in time. So we can't fight alone on social media, neighbor. It cannot be on social media alone. We have to go out there, but no one don't want to do that. Everybody want to come on social media and come like them intelligent and go like them a minister and go like them a parliamentarian. Somebody have to do the dirty work. Somebody have to do the dirty work, neighbor. That's why I told you the last time, neighbor, that yes, I believe that a lot of these bloggers, they did play an important role in the election. But also, neighbor, a lot of these bloggers, neighbor, they're only popular and famous on TikTok. Because if you check a lot of them, neighbor, they lose them constituency. Them don't have no impact on them constituency. They have the biggest impact on social media, but none of them community.
Yes, hold on for me, please. No one scratch it better than Scratchy. Good night to my friends on YouTube. At Loyal on YouTube. I see you. Good night to you. Thank you for watching, eh? Well, we want to say thanks to Cardinal Logistics and Sales. Cardinal Logistics and Sales. Do you have anything to ship to Jamaica? Cardinal Logistics and Sales will do it for you, okay? Fast, reliable shipping service from Florida to Jamaica. They'll pick your packages up and ship it to Jamaica. Well, Christmas is coming and you want to send a barrel down or a box or anything, please call Cardinal Logistics and Sales. Consolidation, warehousing, sea freight, air freight, door to door, custom clearance. Here is their number: 954 701 5958. That's 954 701 5958. Or 954 533 3637. That's 954 533 3637. Call Cardinal Logistics and Sales and they'll take the hassle out of all of your shipping, all right? So it's 14 minutes to 10 o'clock. We're gonna have to come back because we need just 9 people to Zelle something to 954-635-8732. The Zelle account is 954-635-8732. Cardinal Logistics, their number has been posted in your chat right now. 13 to 10. Let's go to Harry. Good night to you, Harry.
Night, Scratchy, Caroline, everybody.
Boy, Harry, we late coming to you. So thanks for waiting, man.
No, my neighbor, that's fine. I think we have to change Scratchy name now from Scratchy to Tear Off, because it's been breaking down things left, right, and center tonight.
Yeah, and I appreciate the clarity he's bringing because I agree with him. I think we have to be careful, Harry, how we to act responsibly and to make sure that we do not inflame situations in the society. Because this talk of a coup or whatever it is, or coup, maybe quite far-fetched.
It is, neighbor. It is, but also it's something you don't want to necessarily take an eye from, because of course you want to keep your options open. You want to be able to know what's in the space and take things seriously, no matter how small it is. Because look at it, the misinformation, for example, started with a few small lies until it left from a granular level to something on a macro scale, so much that we see it enters into our governmental scape of the parliament. So it shows that we still have to give certain things some attention, not enough to garner it and give it strength, neighbor. But I can't say we want to rule out any activities.
To what extent do you think that where we are now, that we are where we are because of misinformation? For example, the results of the last election. Do you think that that was the will of the people? It is revealing the strength or the strengthened position of the opposition? Or do you think misinformation played a role in the balance of power as we have it today?
Neighbor, it does play a balance in terms of what happened, because really and truly, if we're going by saying performance, right, we need an administration that performed, then truly just on that in its entirety, we would have seen Andrew Holness and his team getting a bigger win. But of course, we knew misinformation and persons being intellectual disingenuous, neighbor, they would have played a big part in the latter end. So within the last, I'd say, month of the election, it gathered a lot of momentum, so much that I see people who should know better getting caught in the lies that are being spread, neighbor. And even I personally have to come and dumb it down to these people who I think would have been intellectually sound, right? So it does play a role.
Misinformation is indeed a threat to democracy.
It is, neighbor. It definitely is. And I think one of the things this administration has to do is take it as serious, if not even more, than how we handle the protection of, for example, our tourism package, right, as tourism destination. Because just as how we have a designated destination management team at the cohort in tourism ministry, I think this is something overall in each ministry should also have something similar, neighbor, because if we can protect the brand of our tourism, then we should protect the brand of Jamaica, which is an extension, an even bigger a factor to deal with. Because this, if we look at it, neighbor, again, for example, if you Google Jamaica TikTok, you're not going to see, as a patriot, as somebody who loves Jamaica, you're not going to see that good image such as this once you put that in. And I can challenge anybody on that. You won't see the real things that put Jamaica on the map. You're going to see some foolishness, neighbor, who they with who and all of that. But the misinformation itself also comes in that area, and it has to be dealt with, I'd say, with extreme prejudice, neighbor, because it hurts not just the government, but it also gets its people misaligned with how we should be moving forward. And that in itself, neighbor, divided, we can't move forward properly.
All right. So in the democracy that we operate, Harry, the opposition plays an important role. I hear the Prime Minister saying that the opposition is part of the government, but it is a competitive politics we practice, Harry. Quite frankly, the opposition cannot become government if they are in support of the government and all the government does. What they ought to do is to provide alternative prescriptions and provide for robust debate. To what extent are we being unfair or unkind to the opposition in their opposition to the government?
Meaning for the things we've seen. Definitely, neighbor, right? I can't recall of my years, for example, watching Parliament. I've never seen an opposition who seems as if they don't even understanding the standing order of Parliament, neighbor. It's an every week thing, and it simply means that the persons who are in the opposition are no longer statesmen or students of governance, because these are simple things you should know, and I think they're deliberately doing it, and I think at some point in time we have to call them out. We have to put it to the forefront and say, hey, listen, man, you can't want the policies and the laws of the country, of our democracy, to work one way and only in benefit for you. You have to abide by it regardless of who you are, right? And that is something that's becoming, I for one are becoming impatient as to when do we penalize them in some capacity for this thing, because you can't let it continue, right? And again, coming out and saying,
just suppose this for me, Harry. Do you agree with me that the opposition, for them to be elected, which is their ultimate objective, they want to become government, that for them to become government, they have to become an alternative to the government, a better alternative?
All right.
And do you think that they probably are missing that mark in terms of being a competitor to the government, a credible competitor with ideas that the Jamaican people can look at and say, yes. So for example, we have a hurricane. What have you heard from the opposition towards the reconstruction that you could say, yeah, that's how we should be doing? Have you heard anything?
Neighbor, and again, night after night, I call upon Damian Crawford to come with the draft of the plan, because that for me is a critical factor when it comes on to you potentially showing up in your capacity as an alternative government, right?
Yeah.
but not even that has been done correctly. So I'm still awaiting on that aspect of things. The what I'm seeing is a more combative approach as
You
to
haven't heard anything. You haven't heard anything coming out of them about this hurricane recovery that you could say that's a good suggestion. You haven't heard anything.
nothing convincing, neighbor. I think initially when they said they were doing their relief, putting up their portal and so on to garner funds, I was thinking that maybe, just maybe, giving them the benefit of the doubt, that there would have been some incorporation with those funds or so on. Again, we've heard nothing about this money, neighbor. We don't know how much was collected, what it is, who it's going to benefit. And this, as I think in its initial stage, would have been a good idea to have a unified front. Because of course, neighbor, we know there are persons from the opposition end and their supporters and so on that may not necessarily want to donate towards the government for party reasons, but they would towards their own party. And then standing together in unison, those funds could have been great resources for our fellow countrymen. But again, neighbor, they're getting the opportunity and a good layup to show that they can be an alternative, and they're failing left, right, and center. And that for me, I think they're trying to overcompensate as well for their lack of, right? For example, I'm looking for good suggestions. I'm looking for alternative programs, even from a member of parliament standpoint. And not to be too hard on Miss Burchell and Zulika Jest, but I'm not getting even anything to say they're taking the responsibility for that their people put them in place, right? Even the as Marky G put it, even the portion that he governs, right? I'm not even seeing anything substantial in that case. I'm seeing persons coming on with tears. I'm seeing performing in front of cameras. I'm just not seeing enough to say you're responsible for people.
But in that regard, Harry, then the opposition would be failing the people of Jamaica, because I would expect that rather than calling on the government to be included, you present to the people of Jamaica your own ideas as to what you would do if you were government, and you let the people decide. Isn't that a better alternative, a better strategy?
Neighbor, that is what you should really be doing as the opposition. I know we normally call it that they're the watchdogs of the governing administration, but not limited to, right? And in doing so, for example, I would have seen when Bruce Golding and his team, they were opposition, they tried to come with alternative, neighbor. Whether or not the governing party accepted it, it was something that you would have done, something that made sense. But what I'm getting from the current opposition, neighbor, is that we're going to try and critique everything the government does. We're not going to come and join with you. We're not going to agree with anything that you're doing, regardless of how good it is, regardless of what it is, right? We're just going to do our own thing because we have just a few thousand people less than you. So we are technically equal when we know our governmental system, neighbor. We know the politics that we practice. We're not a proportional system, right? The Westminster system. So regardless of who get popular vote or how much votes, neighbor, it's who get the amount of seats. And you will never be equal because you get a little bit more votes. You have less seats, and that is what governs.
I hate to put you on the spot like this, Harry, but the general consensus that I have heard conducting this program is that Golding is not well liked, well, at least outside of the party, and that right now he's not offering to Jamaica the type of alternative to Holness, and that should he remain in his position, a fourth term for the Jamaican Labour Party is almost inevitable. But then there is another problem in the party. Who could the party turn to if not Golding? It's a crisis of leadership in the opposition.
It is, neighbor. I think what they did or what they're suffering from was that they actually put a band-aid over a gunshot wound from 2020, right? They have not necessarily um cauterize the bleeding that they're having. They just did enough to come and appear as a unified body. I know I don't remember the group that oversees them within their thing neighbor had to come out very early to defend Mark Golding. And for me, if as a team, as a party, if I have to come out and try to defend the leader that I put there, then there's something wrong, something happening in the camp that we may not know of publicly. But even with that time, neighbor, why I said they're just putting a band-aid over that wound is because they have failed in 5 years to, I want to say, a little bit over 5 years to find somebody suitable, somebody of the standard where within the political arena and leadership has gone. And we said it, the politics, not just regionally and locally, the politics globally has changed, neighbor. And I think the current administration has pivoted very well with Mr. Andrew Holness, right? Now, do we know where politics will pivot afterwards? We don't know yet. But as it stands, we're seeing good standards. We're seeing proper governance, proper leadership, and we're seeing forward thinking things being institutionalized. We've not gotten anything and any alternative to that from the opposition. And when we look at their bench, neighbor, I have to say it's one of the weakest bench I've seen for the opposition in my short time.
The confidence that I remember the PNP's conference prior to the local government election, before and after, Golden was bold. He was confident. He was attacking. In recent times, he's been very withdrawn, very unassured. Even at the press conference, if you notice, he stands in the back at Parliament. He doesn't seem very confident, not very, almost like he's able to match the Prime Minister's wit and intelligence, not seeming very confident. Is it that the election loss has so made him so disappointed that he hasn't recovered, or is he no longer interested in this position?
I think, and this is me speculating, neighbor, so anybody can hold me on this point. It is my perspective. I think he had actually gone ahead to oversell his investors, the idea of him winning. And I think now he's being taken aback by the fact that he has failed, right? He did deliver what he was supposed to.
You really think the PNP felt that they were going to win, sir?
Of course, neighbor. All right, put it this way, all right? When we look at how they gone about the last election, they were very strategic and how they handled their resources, especially financially, neighbor. It was actually within the last few days, just before the election, we actually saw how well they had certain resources. Now, on the day, I've seen in terms of a few elections, and I've never seen these people so confident. We've not seen them in the media leading up to the election in droves, but on the day for specific areas, they seemed extremely confident, and I couldn't understand why. But it simply means they knew what they wanted to do, neighbor. It's just that Jamaicans aren't that foolish, right? We see what we want. We've been exposed to better, and we would have been very foolish to go onto the polls and put in uncertainties. Because here's one of the things as well, neighbor. Even when we look at, for example, the manifestos, we couldn't get how they would have financed a lot of things, right? And that is one of the things. It was almost like the last 2 weeks they were flip-flopping technically, trying to explain things and coming up with new things to appeal to the emotions and try to get last minute attention.
Hold on, Harry. We're listeners, we have touched 10 o'clock. It's actually 5 after. We're not able to have these people. there are maybe 30 people wanting to come up here, and we can't take all of you tonight. What we're going to do, you see, I want to talk a little bit more to Harry, testing him how politically savvy he is. How much does he know the politics? He's doing very well. I would give him an A. But Daphne, you're in the box. Yeah, Daphne's there. Daphne, we need 5 people. 5 people to jump onto the Zelle account to complete tonight's target, so that we can talk to Harry a little bit more. Please do that and take the cause. Because if we can't do that, we can't. We have to go lock this down now, you know.
I'm sorry, neighbor.
Chat to me. Talk to me. Yes.
Could we hear just for a little bit from Claudette, please? We've been waiting for a while.
Very patient lady, yeah. But have you funded the program?
Are you speaking about me, sir?
Yes, I'm asking if the program fees have been met.
No, not yet.
And then we can't talk to Claudette.
Yes, neighbor, we can.
See that? Claudette, good night to you. Claudette Crawford, 03. Hi. Claudette? No. I want to say good night to the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness. Mrs. Holness listens to this program. Hello there, Mrs. Holness, Speaker of the House. Thank you for listening, ma'am. Juliet Holness. Is that Nev? Good night to you, Nev. Hi. Hi there, Mrs. Holness. How you doing? Top of the night justice, yeah. We have conversations on this program, sir. Conversations that matter. You have to listen. Pete Waterman, good night.
Hey, how's it going, neighbor?
Do you carry water for people, sir?
No, I don't.
You drink rum?
I recommend the water to drink.
You're a rum drinker?
No, sir.
You know that in the country they have water holes, sir?
Water what?
Water hole.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Uh-huh. You never leave the water hole without getting wet. You know that, sir?
I hear you.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about any other wet hole. This water hole I talk about where rum there. So what you laughing?
Okay, sir. Okay.
You're a Christian, sir?
No, I'm not a Christian. I'm spiritual.
You're okay. So you know nothing about wet hole.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. I won't get into it right now, though.
Why?
I don't think this is the medium for it.
Sir, remember the context also here. We're talking about rum hole.
Right, right.
Uh-huh. Rum hole.
Maybe.
You know where them got rum?
Waterman gone far, neighbor. Waterman gone far.
Oh, man.
Don't make neighbor dry out in the waterman. Don't make neighbor dry out waterman.
Neighbor will do that. I listen to neighbor all the time. I know he'll draw me.
Don't let him dry out waterman. You have to remain fit. You have to remain fit, waterman.
That's right. That is right. You know, actually, neighbor, I came on because I actually wanted to talk about what Scratchy said about the Prime Minister and the safety of the Prime Minister. I totally agree that the Prime Minister has very good protection. But at the same time, neighbor, I don't agree with Scratchy saying there's no threat. There are threats for the Prime Minister. We see them. There are threats. Even I have videos right now in my phone of threats on the Prime Minister's life. And I was calling for a couple of days the JCF or the authorities in Jamaica to go get these people. They need to be charged.
No, but you see now, sir, that may create a problem that is worse than the threat itself.
Why you say that?
Because there are legislation that. Did you read the Gleaner's editorial today?
No, I didn't.
You should.
Okay.
I wonder if I can find the story. You know, the night is very, very is almost gone. Let me see if I can find it. It is interesting, sir, because we must try and understand why some of this is happening. Scratchy, go and talk to him. Let me see if I can find the tape.
I mean, with what Waterman just said, neighbor, he just conclude everything, you know, because if Waterman have these videos, whatever, I'm sure the police also have them. And neighbor, the police don't make an approach or an arrest of these persons, it simply means that the threat is not at that level. The threat is not at that level to warrant an arrest.
Be careful on in terms of the legislation on which they are operating.
You have to be careful, neighbor, on legislation that they are operating. So persons need to just understand, neighbor, that yes, a threat can be, somebody can come out and say, I want to do this to you and I want to analyze you. Yes, that is a threat. But the police are going to do an assessment of the threat level. How serious is this threat? And they're going to look into the person background or whatever, and they're going to make a determination and say, all right, this threat
here is it, brother. Listen.
Libel was decriminalized in November 2013 following the passing of the Defamation Act. The law eliminated the distinction between libel and slander and replaced the defense of justification with the defense of truth. But Mrs. Malahoo Fort believes, based on threats posed in the digital age, criminal libel may need to be brought back. She explained that these days, fake news has the potential to travel fast.
Because right now, at the touch of
libel was decriminalized in the...
So criminal libel was decriminalized. You understand that, sir?
Criminal libel.
Libel. let me listen to it a little bit more, because I think this is what the former minister is trying to say needs to come back. It is the legislation on which the police could act, because remember, the police can't just act on their own, you know, sir. They have to be backed by law. Listen again.
Libel was decriminalized in November 2013 following the passing of the Defamation Act.
So there was a Defamation Act that was passed that decriminalized certain things. Listen.
Law eliminated the distinction between libel and slander and replaced the defense of justification with the defense of truth. But
you understand
but hold on, neighbor. That's two different things. You're talking about defamation and libel. That's different from threat. That is totally different from a threat. A threat is a crime.
Okay, so if I say you here, or if I put out a video and say, hey boy, fit water man, me I go unalive you, you know.
You threaten me.
That is a threat.
Yes.
Okay, but I could be just running up my mouth.
Well, that's a problem.
What's correct? Because quite frankly, some of these people have no capacity to do it. None at all.
But we don't know.
What he's saying is that the police, when you go to the police is not going to arrest me and lock me up because I threaten you. You know, I may be warned not to do it. But what he's saying is that the police would have received the same copies of the tape that you have, and would have
then they have to investigate. Then they would have to investigate.
Right. They would have remember, you know, sir, you're talking about the prime minister, you know, sir.
Exactly.
Is the head of the government. And so the police, his own security detail, gets all of these things, you know. Correct, Scratchy?
100% neighbor. The police, the security neighbor, the protective service of the Jamaica Constabulary Force neighbor. Yes, they are police, but they are a different arm of the police neighbor, where they directly deal with these threats neighbor that surround persons who they are protecting. They do a daily briefing, they do a type of things and these things neighbor. This is the protective arm of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. They make sure that, especially the Prime Minister neighbor, they make sure that they conduct a risk or a threat assessment every single day towards the Prime Minister, where he's going to go. Neighbor, they think when the Prime Minister drive out of Jamaica House to go to St. Mary, that he just drive go to St. Mary, so you know how much protocols and things are put in place waiting on him at certain standpoint and we have along St. Mary that he's going.
We know that. We know that. But Scratchy, remember, who is more protected than
like when he was in halfway tree handing out books, Scratchy. A lot of people don't know the security apparatus that was up there that people don't see.
Exactly.
We know that all leaders have been protected. They have the protection. Look at the president of the United States.
Well, we're not even comparing him to the US president, which his security is out of this world.
Exactly. And guess what? He was shot in his ears.
I don't know that. I don't know that. Sir.
Oh, come on. Don't come with the conspiracy, no.
No, but I don't. No, seriously. No, seriously. I don't know that to be true. I don't know.
This is crazy.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't believe. You don't believe.
It's not about believe. Listen, I don't.
It happened.
Well, that's what the news said.
All right, let's not get into that. All I'm trying to say, there are threats out there that we cannot underestimate. I know the cops are supposed to be diligent and paying attention, but we never know what some of these people can do. We never know.
All right, Waterman, you make a point a while ago about the U.S. president. U.S. president received 14 to 20,000 threats every day. The police in America lock up all of those persons?
No, they're not arrested. They're not arrested.
Oh, okay.
But they're going to investigate.
Yes, so that is also done in the case of the Jamaican. The same
right,
videos
and that's why
Waterman,
when we
the
see
same videos that you have, Waterman, the police have these videos also. And once you don't see any arrest being made as yet, Waterman, Let me tell you how police operate. They say these things, these threats that are made online towards the Prime Minister, when the police get these information, Waterman, the police send these things to the Director of Public Prosecution, the DPP office. That is where they get guidance as to whether this person can be charged or not. And the DPP might send and say, well, despite the person say this, it bothers such and such, but this act also prevent them from being charged and ray. That is how the police operate, but the police now come talk those things. So we have to understand how the system works. The police
They
doesn't
can
come and
charge
knock you
them.
up.
They can charge them even if they find out that they weren't a legitimate threat, because that will deter other people from making threats to the Prime Minister. They can charge them.
Cannot just run and charge you, Sir Waterman.
Hold on, let me ask a question before we go any further. Is threat a crime, yes or no?
No,
Is threat a crime in Jamaica, yes or no?
It's not a crime.
It's not a crime.
No, it's not but a crime, sir, is a different level of thing. A crime is something, an act that you commit against another person. I'm not a lawyer here. But,
Threat is a criminal offense. Threat is a criminal offense in America. I swear it's supposed to be the same in Jamaica. It is a criminal offense to make threats.
Okay, we're not supposed to be threatening people, and I believe that there is in Jamaica. I think there is something I saw at the police station that says that you must report all threats.
Exactly.
All threats are to be reported. But I will check on the legal part of that, and I probably will have it for the listeners tomorrow. But I think the point we are trying to make, though, sir, is that these threats against the leader of the country would have been looked at and examined, and that the police is totally on top of them.
Well, we hope. We're hoping.
And that does not mean, sir, that we must not be very careful of what is developing, because it is very concerning that people can come on media and begin to say the things they are saying. That is what the former constitution minister was speaking about. But the leader is saying that is what they call it? Something about in the editorial this morning. The Gleaner is pressing for free speech.
Right, and we as content creator that knows better should be able to call out these people and say what you're doing is wrong, and you can be arrested for making these type of videos with these threats to the Prime Minister or to anybody. We need to tell them, because some of them are definitely not educated when it comes to that. They just think, oh, somebody talk about freedom of speech. They feel because they have freedom of speech, they can come out and say anything. And threats is not freedom of speech. Threats to anyone is not freedom of speech.
Yes. You are correct, sir. Want to thank you for
aggravated offense. But neighbor, as I said earlier, neighbor, there's over 20,000 threats that the US president gets, more threats than any other leader in the world. And everyone who send these threats, neighbor, they don't arrest all of them. And a risk assessment is done, a threat assessment is done to see the level of these threats, what level these threats are at. And they cipher them down based on the levels, and they zoom in based on what is more serious or what is not. So I suspect that the same is being done in Jamaica, neighbor, where wherever these threats are being made at the Prime Minister or government officials, the threat level is being assessed, neighbor, to see how serious, how deadly this threat is going to be, and the police will act accordingly. And we have to understand, neighbor, that the police is guided by the Director of the Public Prosecution Office, where certain laws and things where the police that is not directly say, yes, this is how it's going, neighbor, and police might have to seek question and guidance on it, neighbor. They have to go to the DPP. The DPP office knows all of the laws more than me and you, neighbor. And these guys can say, yes, this might sound dreadful, yes, but it borders and this act prevent it, and it is bordering on safe speech and stuff like that. And the police might say, yes, but we want to go and lock up this person. And the DPP might say, there's not enough evidence to lock up this person. You lock up this person, the government might get a lawsuit and themselves. And the government have to protect themselves from lawsuits, neighbor. The government have to protect themselves from lawsuits.
Not only that, Scratchy, but I tell you this, the government don't want to create more problems, you know, because we must protect and guard our fundamental rights, you know, Scratchy. And the right to free speech responsibly is something that I think we must all argue for too.
And definitely, neighbor, when you look at free speech, neighbor, it's a political opinions, neighbor, and scientific opinion are the two most difficult opinions, neighbor, for you to charge somebody on here. When
Yes.
someone have a political opinion.
Yeah, that's different. That is different from a threat. Yeah, I understand that. Neighbor, can I ask you, what do you think of the opposition right now? What is going on with the opposition in terms of, all right, let me tell you how I feel about the opposition right now. The opposition to me right now seems like they're hurt. It seems as if they're hurt because there are things that are happening that they didn't want to happen. Like, for instance, the IMF, the World Bank coming to offer Jamaica this loan is something like they're real mad at. This shouldn't happen. To me, it seems as if they feel like there's nothing more they can. It's like everything they try to do to stop the government or to prevent the government, it's like they realize it's backfiring on them. I want to know how you, Scratchy, and you, neighbor, how you feel about that, because that's how I feel. That's what I look at. That's what I'm seeing.
You know, so I don't like to take too many questions on this program.
Okay.
My opinions are covered in neighbor's notes, and if you listen to that, you'll get the editorial perspective of the program. But I'm going to, because it's so late in the night, I'm going to attempt to answer. I believe, sir, that the opposition is in a difficult position. I believe that the government of Jamaica is doing well, and that the majority of Jamaicans are feeling better about themselves and their country. And many Jamaicans, sir, have become disillusioned with the politics. So they are neither looking to the opposition nor to the government. So those who are disillusioned are not turning to the opposition, but they're not turning to the government either. Those who have stayed informed see the government as doing reasonably well. And in that regard, they are likely not to support the opposition. Even though they may not vote for the government, they are not going to vote for the opposition. In other words, and I said this before the election, that there was no narrative in Jamaica for a change of government. There's no narrative that suggests that the people of Jamaica wants the government to be changed. So at this point in our history, Andrew Holness is enjoying very good support as leader of the country. And you see this hurricane that blows up? There are many Jamaicans who are happy that he is the prime minister. because he has a record of managing crises. You remember the COVID pandemic.
Right.
That for me is where the opposition is confused. They are confused because how do you topple a government with the record that this one has and the likability, the favorability of the prime minister? It's not easy. The murders in Jamaica, sir, is set to go down to a 40-year low this year, 40 years. Did you know, sir, that even with Melissa, the finance minister is saying that the government's fiscal targets are not totally off?
That I heard her say that because they see they offer yesterday the student loan.
Yes, and when you look at the supplementary budget, they have added on the $9 billion, You understand what I'm saying to you? So
Right.
even with the hurricane, the government's ability to fulfill its manifesto promises are on track. So you don't topple a government like this easily. Governments, people don't vote. People vote out government, sir. People don't vote in opposition, They vote out government. In other words, the government fail,
Right.
and the people them get rid of it. Do you see in Jamaica, sir, a government that is failing?
Hell no, not at all.
Well, that's the problem the opposition is facing. The governments have to fail for opposition parties to be relevant, to be popular. The government have to fail. So what the opposition is doing, it is creating a narrative that the government is failing. And they are hoping that somehow that narrative will convince enough people to vote for them. No, it didn't work on September 3rd.
Right.
And I doubt it is going to work in 2030 or
Totally agree.
whenever the election is called. And I think the opposition right now is feeling very broken and discouraged because
Totally.
yes,
Totally.
and it is causing them to make some mistakes. But my advice to them would be refresh yourself. Refresh yourself.
I think they should get a change of leadership
Well,
to be relevant.
I say refresh. Refresh yourself. And get an identity. The opposition, in my view, sir, have lost their identity. We don't know who they are anymore. They are trying to, jump on every little thing and get an identity. And put before the Jamaican people a set of ideas, a set of policies that competes against the government, because I believe this government is going to be difficult to beat, sir, at the polls.
Totally agree with you.
They're going to be difficult to beat at the polls. I don't think, and this is my personal view, which I don't like to share, but I don't know why I'm obliging you so much. I don't think Holness can lose any election that he contests from here on. The only election that he will lose is the one he lost against Simpson Miller. No other.
Yeah.
No. Even if it's a narrow win, he's not going to lose.
I agree with you. I actually think since he doesn't seem as if he has any plans, and he actually said it, that he wouldn't be after listening.
He will have to retire. He's not
he right. So I'm talking about possibly 3 more consecutive terms.
You see, the country would have to fail under his leadership, and
Exactly.
I don't think it happens.
That's what I said.
The country would have to fail. We would have to see rising crime, the economy collapsing, jobs are lost. Something catastrophic would have to happen under his care. Not Melissa. Melissa is a natural disaster. And look
Right.
what he has done so far. 6.7 billion United States dollar to build back his country. That's not failure, sir. That's great success.
But the opposition should figure that out, see that the strategy that they're using is not working, and they should somehow try to at least work with the government and show their people that, you know what, we love our country and we're going to work together to make this better.
Yeah,
But they're not doing that.
What you are experiencing too, sir, is a sense of desperation. Because when you can't see how you are going to get into power, you will get desperate, Why you think men rape? Bro, what they call it on online here, Scratchy? Rape. Why you think men rape, sir? Even I see the nice girl, and there's no way he could put an argument to that girl, and the girl would say yes. No way. She would never.
Right.
So what him do? Him hide and rape her. Because that's the only way he gonna get her is to do it illegal, is to do it by force. And I think the country, I don't know that the PNP can put arguments to Jamaica to win her right now.
The PNP is a bitter ex-neighbor. The People's National Party is one of those bitter ex-neighbor who you move on neighbor.
Yes.
That ex is so obsessed with you. He's so bitter neighbor trying to get back at your neighbor that they're trying to use money. And you know, neighbor, that's that bitter ex where they use money to get to form the relationship first, neighbor. So every time that person is supposed to come look for your neighbor, they cannot come empty and they have to make sure that they have money because they tell a lie and make it look like, neighbor, my grandmother tell me that the worst thing I can do is look in a woman and make it look like you have money when they don't have no money, You have to go stand to that forever, And that is where the PNP is failing, neighbor. When they were looking Jamaica, neighbor, they came with money. And now, neighbor, they cannot maintain it. They cannot maintain it. They cannot go to these parishes or these constituencies which are their partner, neighbor, without money. That's why they want $50 million because it's all about money. The relationship was formed through money, neighbor, and money will have to be the way how the relationship is continued and stayed. And they know that without money, neighbor, it is possible that these people are going to turn against them. The PNP, neighbor, is a sad and depressed and bitter ex. And Jamaica has moved on from that ex. And they need to know that.
And I will tell you something about exes, Scratchy. You're a younger man than I. You don't go back to your ex.
Exactly, neighbor. You don't go back to your ex.
There's a reason why you walk away from your ex. Let your ex turn white. Okay?
Exactly.
You move on. You know in the alphabet, sir? You know where X come?
Before.
After X come
Y. Before Y.
Definitely, but Jamaica move on from that X and we're not going back to that X.
I love that. I love that.
You don't go back to your ex. You're struggling with that X there. Fit.
No. I have that issue.
Nobody knows this. You're struggling with that X there?
No, I don't have that issue. But I think the PNP has an issue, that big issue, and it is a shame to see how they're behaving. They're acting as if they just want to go wild and do just about anything wild to hurt.
Even the Bible tells you you mustn't return to your vomit. Once you vomit it out, it means that the stomach rejects it. Don't go back to no egg. No matter how the ex
harsh.
No matter how the ex beg you, no go back.
Right.
That is very harsh, though.
Caroline says it's very harsh.
Harsh?
That's a little harsh. I don't understand the moral of the story, the why part.
Okay. We have to tell you that. Because you start over the alphabet. So when you reach to X, Y, Z, no more left, You have to start back to A. So what the X will do is to take you right back to A. You come back. You'll get it another time.
And in mathematics, you have the x-axis and the y-axis.
Yes.
So definitely X, Y. Caroline, you seem like someone who you and your ex them good though, Caroline.
No.
You don't seem to have any issue with your exes, Caroline.
How did you get to exes now when we're speaking about ex?
She only has one
Yeah,
X. One X.
One X.
Yeah.
No,
Leave
Tashina, no, Tashina.
leave that to God. Only God remarry the backsliders. You know, marry them. Only God say he remarries backsliders. You don't need to do that. You stay away from your ex. It ain't God. Have a great night, listeners. I know you. Scratchy,
Yes, neighbor.
big up yourself.
Blessed night. I mean, my ex them good neighbor. I'm my ex them.
I want to be at your wedding one day, sir.
Wedding. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm definitely. I definitely get married. I think that's something I would definitely pursue.
Yes. Would you invite me?
Most definitely, neighbor. Most definitely. Young Caroline and Harry will definitely. They have to definitely be on the invitation, and maybe I want some for a position in the wedding as well.
That's nice. That's nice. Yes. Well, you know, sir, I'll buy you two bottles of champagne.
No problem. No problem. No problem.
And
But
I'll
you
call
definitely invited to my wedding, neighbor. Caroline
Yes.
will definitely be a key asset of a part of my wedding as well. Definitely.
Look at that.
Me?
Yes, Caroline.
I thought I told you I don't want to be involved in any more weddings.
Yes, you did told me that, but you have one more wedding that you're gonna have to be a part of. One more.
Dear, I thought this was it for this Christmas.
No, not yes, for this Christmas. Not this Christmas. Maybe next Christmas I'll be getting married. Maybe next Christmas.
Wow. Wow. Lovely Scratchy. Congrats, man.
Thank you, my good
I
neighbor.
hope you propose already if you're going to say that to us.
No long proposal. I don't.
Oh
believe in
my
long
God, you haven't proposed yet?
I don't believe in long proposal. Yes, Caroline.
Someone is asking if I'm going to be the bride.
Who's asking? They might have an idea of the bride already. They might know who the bride is.
It's not me.
No, it's not Caroline. Caroline might be the bride.
Listeners,
Caroline might be the
not
bride.
me.
The listeners may have an idea of who the bride is, Scratchy.
Yes, a lot of persons here might have an idea of who the bride is.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I wonder what. Wow. Some girl is online blushing. Wow.
Join the box. Let's see.
You checking the box?
No, we should join the box. Let her join the box.
Well, maybe the proposal.
Maybe tonight he will propose.
Well, you know, Scratchy, it seemed like you'll have to propose on this live.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know, to make it fun, I might propose on the live for sure.
You may?
Yes, neighbor. This politics plus. I'm not gonna say anymore. Let's keep it. Let's keep it at that. We're might have a big celebration come next year, neighbor, on the live. You know, keep it.
Well, look at that. What a program. I tell you, this is fantastic. Great to hear that.
Scratchy, you still have to come with your fees, you know.
I definitely come no see Harry, man. Definitely.
Oh. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, neighbor, definitely. Man. All neighbor rights will be a part. All neighbor rights will be a part of my wedding proceedings. In some capacity.
Some people
sir,
like
no reality facts. It's not me.
I you know, whoever the girl is, Scratchy, I want her to listen to this.